You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
It's cool, though. Our listeners are garbage. I hope Byron opens the episode with me saying that.
Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I'm your host, the Outlaw LA Red. You can find me on social media at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on social media at MMMshow75. You got at Byron Fever over there. You got at Lucha Gringo up there. And yes, I am doing this by candlelight. It is, there's a power outage here in Cleveland. Somehow the Browns still managed to win. And it's interesting. So we're going to see how much of this I can get through. Bear with me here. Hopefully this doesn't sound terrible, but modern technology, I got a good phone, and we're going to try to do this anyway.
Whoa!
So, what? Oh, and
what?
Here's
Meatloaf.
Here's at Meatloaf.
Oh. Holy shit. We were just telling people you died on the toilet last week. Oh.
Yeah. For those,
he's in the shop.
He's
hiding there.
For those listening, Meatloaf just joined the chat, and he is currently in the liquor aisle of a grocery store, as is his routine on a Sunday morning when we record.
And I have no
price check on a jackass. Oh, come on! I had to.
Meef,
goodbye.
Meef, where are you?
Hello and goodbye. See you later.
Cheers, Meef. Thanks for popping in.
Where? First of all, why aren't you recording horizontal?
Bye.
And why aren't you showing us some nip?
Yeah.
Meatloaf clearly is, I believe, in the process of robbing a liquor store or something. So, he may not be able to fully participate there.
Snatch and grab, buddy.
All right, we lost him. That was a great contribution by Meatloaf.
Hey, at least he showed up, man. At least he showed up.
I need to point out two things real fast. I think we're going to have our best podcast episode ever, aside from the Conan interview and the Skip interview and the EVW interview and the Chris's interviews and the one with Phantasma. That was really good.
Or the Six Cross interviews.
The Six Cross interviews.
The 18 Thunder Rosa interviews.
Those are really good. Yeah. Last week was also kind of fun. But aside from that, this is going to be up there. We started so I start recording at a certain time and I take a note when we actually start the show. And we started at 3 minutes and 16 seconds into the recording.
Which is rare.
I know. It's usually.
You look at your timer and you see the 316, you son of a bitch.
I would be remiss to go without mentioning, if I'm using the word right, I don't know what it means, that the MMM show is now the premier thirsty podcast of professional wrestling. Last week,
why is it? Wait. Why is the podcast thirsty?
Last week we have a host. We have a host going the full Monty, if that's a reference for you kids out there. Pants down, right in front of the camera, right? And
going the full Monty Kip Sop.
If that wasn't enough, this week now we're recording a podcast via candlelight dinner.
Well. It's romantic.
Yes.
Hi, welcome to the MMM show. The premier romance podcast about wrestling. Okay.
About a little fuck music.
Byron just making fun of me because I sounded a little thirsty when it came to Red Velvet. I sounded maybe a little even more parched with Denise Salcedo and whatnot. But look, the simple fact of the matter is Red Velvet is a lovely young lady, and she had a very good match this week. But she's not the match I want to start this off talking about. I want to talk about two of our longtime favorites who tore it up this week on broadcast television in the main event, Fenix and Penta.
Oh, my God.
Oh, dude, until you said broadcast television, I thought you were talking about Chavo Guerrero versus Chico El Luchador in a Lucha Underground tribute match on Taka Shoppa Mania 2.
We'll need to get into that, but Justin
that
and I have
amazing.
Not seen it yet, so we'll need you to tell us about it without spoiling it later.
Well, tell me about it. I'm curious to hear about it now. What's the haps of that match? Was it good?
Well, it came at us from a shitty warehouse.
Yeah.
It was shot very cinematically. It featured multiple Lucha Underground alumni. No. Cinematic for Talking Shop is that they put the grain filter that comes default in Final Cut.
Oh, you have that
over
one.
it.
You have that one scratch that's like right here.
Yeah.
And it just
that same scratch all the time. Well, yeah, it would be right here.
That's hot.
Yeah, and multiple Lucha Underground alumni. If you count Watts, which I count Watts because he was at the shows a lot, and he was a security guy, so that counts. Also, you get multiple people dying because it's a death match, so everyone has to die. And slight spoiler, the match turns into a literal cartoon some point in the match, which Lucha Underground never did. And it's because they are cowards at Lucha Underground, and they never decided to just do that.
Wow, full-on cowards. Well, it sounds super exciting. I'm going to have to check that out.
It was goddamn amazing.
Maybe they didn't have the budget.
Homage to Lucha Underground is certainly worth at least a minute and a half of my time.
And speaking of homages to something that a great luchador was involved in, the main event was a ball for a ball match.
What kind of balls are we talking about here?
Testicles. Like people were getting you had to rip off your opponent's testicles to win the match. It was like the eye for an eye match.
Very pedestrian.
That was the one with the Nature Boy, right?
No. It was Chad Too Bad versus Sex Ferguson. And the losers, let's just say,
hold on. Did Sex Ferguson have any balls left?
Oh, Sex Ferguson had plenty. It was Chad that was having some problems in that. Department.
Chad's the one who may not have any left.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you count all the hot Asian wife references on the pay-per-view too, you could tell clearly that it was taped weeks ago, which it was. But I gotta say, the testicle ripping, they don't fuck you on that. You get to see the testicle ripping, and it is much more convincing than Rey Mysterio losing his eyeball.
What? Okay. That sounds like not as exciting as all the things I was about to say about Penta and Fenix. But okay.
Yeah, well, Penta and Fenix didn't have to deal with the cock torture.
No, but they definitely did not take it easy on each other in AEW this week. And I have to say, like, I'm still happy though that these matches are out there and they're getting out there and that people are getting exposed to these guys. It was very funny, and not to do a Byron and spoiler our Lucha Underground review, but it was funny to see Penta and Fenix go at it in the episode of Lucha Underground that we're watching this week compared to this, because I would like to say that Penta was maybe 3 or 4 steps faster back in that Lucha Underground season 1 than he is right now. But
this was the better match.
Phenomenal. Yes, this was. Well, yeah, because they were just they faced off for a couple seconds in Lucha Underground in this week's episode that we're talking about. But this was great. It was exactly what it should have been. It completely delivered. It gives you a little bit of a quandary storyline wise, but and for Byron's sake, they didn't do all of the best spots in the picture-in-picture break this time.
That was
which had to make you happy.
My question for you, Justin, since you said it, everything was the way it should be. Who won?
Penta.
Exactly.
He won. Come on. They're 1-1, brother. They're 1-1 now.
It was.
I ignore that other finish.
I think it's really great and something that you really see, especially. I mean, you're going to see Penta and Fenix line up against each other in all the Lucha episodes, because that was during the 5-year span they only wrestled against each other, and then then they became a tag team after that. But it's interesting to see, especially last week that was the first time we saw them back together fighting. They incorporated a lot more pacing and storytelling with their Lucha Libre.
I think so,
which helps. Like, it's a much more mature style, especially on an American wrestling television show.
Well, I think that's part of it. I mean, like, look, these guys are top performers, and they are taking into account some of the, American working style, which I do think benefits Pentagon.
Yes.
He isn't the speed demon he once was. He's not in the gym every day like he once was. And I think everybody knows that is a frank and honest assessment of Pentagon where he's at right now. But that doesn't mean he's not, better than 90% of the other wrestlers out there still. I mean, the guy is
100%.
I don't know about that.
He also didn't spam the Cero Miedo as much as we've seen him do in big matches.
It was still a few times. It was like, man, if you look back at these old Lucha Underground matches, there was one of them. It was a fun setup. and that was that. But then, nowadays he does like 6 spots, and 3 or 4 of them get spoiled, and it's really just an opportunity for him to whisper that he's going to take the bump to whatever guy he's wrestling.
Man,
I don't know.
If only I could book the 3rd match with my Boss Fight Studios Lucha Bros action figures. We know you're listening. Give us our shit.
I don't see them anywhere.
God.
They're supposed to be.
They look. All I gotta say is, people are starting to get the AEW ones already. Just so you know. You know, they look like shit in comparison, but no, they're definitely not. No, the Boss Fight ones. Did you see those close-ups of like how the stitching on the masks is even fucking molded? The tattoos look great instead of just being like
any
brown.
way that they can actually go into production with them looking that good? I mean, come on.
Yes,
that's what they're sorting.
Well, yeah, it just takes 47 years, which it's already doing. We're on year 46 and a half right now, so we're getting close.
Yeah,
we'll see. I also thought it was a very smart move that they did such a tremendous amount of mask ripping in this match. American
because those Boss Fight figures come with ripped masks, bro.
Well, first of all, I thought they were going to bleed, and they didn't, and I thought that was smart because there was already so much blood. But
I thought as soon as I saw Phoenix's mask get ripped too, I was like, "Oh my god, we're headed for another gusher."
Yeah, but I was watching, and what rang in my head immediately was, especially when there wasn't any blood, and they both just ripped their masks real bad, was. Oh, they just made themselves another $100 per mask after the show.
Yeah.
Well, my thought was that it's a smart move because I think American audiences will actually connect with them more, seeing a little bit of their faces. It wasn't so much that you'd know who they were on the street, but let's be honest, like the days of, keeping an identity secret, it doesn't really benefit you all that much in this day and age, especially not with an American audience. So, like, giving these guys a little bit of personality, seeing a little bit of their faces. Like, I know what these guys look like. If I saw them on the street, I could pick them out pretty easily, especially Phoenix. But
I would pretend to not know, though.
I mean, I think you would be able to. You would know Pentagon because who else looks like him in any way, shape, or form?
Correct.
Jeff Cobb
probably doing the parka dance all around too, and like breaking arms. So that's a giveaway.
No, but Justin, if they made that kind of connection showing their face, imagine what kind of connection you made last week on the show when you showed your butthole.
That's true.
It wasn't. I just showed my manscape. That's all I showed.
You manscaped the AH, literally. Bro.
It's true. It's but so if we could transition from Justin shaved AH back to the match, I apologize for that, but I feel we should go back to that later.
Okay.
I thought it was a good way. It was like having Mike Tenay back in WCW explaining lucha tradition and explaining their sort of code of conduct. And
they haven't done much of that honestly yet in AEW, and you think they would have. And Excalibur did a decent job of helping move that ball forward here in this particular spot. And
that was a way to show that they weren't taking it easy on each other, and Pentagon is a son of a bitch, and Phoenix can, he can stand up to it. Like
they certainly weren't taking it easy. The Mexican Destroyer on the floor?
Yeah.
What the heck? What?
But I love that because they did that. They basically Penta won via 3 pile drivers in a row.
Correct.
I think that's a fair finish to a match.
Lucha tradition.
Yeah, go ahead, Case.
Those should all be illegal moves. Just saying.
Yeah.
Correct.
Just say it.
But also, I just remembered when you were talking about the mask tearing and the mask ripping. I remember when I was getting back into wrestling and I watched Lucha Underground, and they would do that a little bit. And then I started watching AAA. Like, I understood that was a big insult, but the more I watched AAA, the more I saw every heel rip a mask of the face in like the main event, if not at least in several matches. Like, they do it all the time in Mexico.
It's an established
shit's expensive.
Spot,
It's an expensive spot. But you get to sell the mask for more. Like,
if you're gonna sell the mask that night anyway, I mean, it's not like you don't go into it knowing you're gonna rip your mask that night. So you get the couple extra bucks.
But you know what you can't. You know what you can't do. Sorry, I keep cutting you off before you transition. This is the last one. You know what you can't do when you do that? You rip your mask. You can't sell 3 other masks that look kind of like it as the ring worn.
That's true.
Yeah. Or at least you shouldn't do that. Doesn't mean you can't do that, but you probably
you just go back. You just try to match the rip.
I'll tell
You're
you
just
what, I did-
sitting there going.
I liked that Penta was kind of back in his original Pentagon Junior look as well here. Even though it wasn't fully that, it was still Penta El Cierro Miedo, Penta Zero M thing, whatever name he's going by these days. But it was kind of nice to reminisce back in the black and white. And then Ray Fenix, I was going to ask Meef about this too. I know half of the mask was the Venom. What was the other half? I couldn't ever quite see it. I was also taking some notes during the match, but Penta or Fenix had the half and half mask, and I couldn't tell what the other half was. Was it a Eddie thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Does anybody know?
Was, I think he was moving too fast for me to notice. And
you didn't really get a good entrance shot to show.
Yeah,
it had some writing on one part of it, and
they really kind of fucked up the entrances on this match. And I feel like we got robbed out of some of that.
Yeah, that's some AEW is still.
They did that a few times throughout the night at AEW. They seem to want to take care of some house cleaning business and announce table stuff, and the directors are kind of all over the place. And I haven't really been liking the way that the ring entrances have been coming across. And I also don't really like them in Daly's place. I don't like the entrances in that place compared to the arenas or some of the other.
But no matter what, we'll get Cody's full entrance, no matter how boring it is and how uneventful and long it is.
To be fair, Cody probably directed it and like wrote it out and put the effort in.
But even Kenny Omega, who's been doing these incredible entrances recently, they've been doing weird cutaways and side angles and
it's funny
shots,
like,
and it's weird.
Like they definitely like the TH2 entrances, which should be the best one. They definitely like butcher all that. You don't see Angelico vibing at all, which is horrible.
Yeah,
but you could tell during the Kenny entrances where it's like whoever's live directing, live cutting doesn't know what's happening, and you could tell like
correct.
Here's a shot of the woman dancing. All right, cut to Kenny silhouette. All right, and it's too early, and you could just see the guy in the control room going, all right, what's just something's gonna happen. Don't cut away. Something's gonna happen. Don't cut away.
And then they cut away right when it happens.
Yeah.
They're brilliant. Hey, I got to tell you, my favorite part of the match wasn't Pentagon, Casey. It was Eddie Kingston just kicking Fenix out of the ring after the match mercilessly.
Okay, that was pretty funny.
You're not my best friend. That I was in tears, dude, bro. Eddie Kingston is fire right now. I'm just not mad at him at all. Even though I don't care if it's been done before. I don't care how much stuff he's stealing. Nobody else is doing what he's doing right now. And the way it's getting over works perfectly to me.
I also he should have gone over at the pay-per-view. I'm just saying that.
I want to talk about the pay-per-view. Let me hit a couple other things from just the regular weekly episode real quick, and then we'll talk quickly. We never talked about the pay-per-view last week, but
I want to wrap up the Penta Fenix thing. I also think like there are two guys that I don't know if we or anyone else like Rob Viper have gone a week without saying, how come these guys don't have characters and storylines? How come they're not doing anything of consequence on the show? And all of a sudden, they sort of backdoored an incredible blood feud now between them and two other big personalities that also cut good promos. So now they're in a hot program that's also very well set up for American TV that they could break away from Pac and Eddie too. But all of a sudden, now we have a huge blood feud between Penta and Fenix that everyone loves, and it's getting the main event spot on Dynamite.
I'll tell you, honestly, I hope they don't go back to the Death Triangle thing. I think Fenix maybe goes off with Pac a little bit and uses that as a springboard into some solo action, and Penta and Eddie stick together and have a nice little heel run with the Butcher, Blade, and Bunny kind of faction thing that they've got going on, and leave Eddie Kingston, like we were talking about before, keep the New Japan thing going a little bit where they have different factions, and let Eddie Kingston kind of run one. Maybe it needs a little bit of a name or some branding. I don't know.
No, dude, what you do is you get Eddie Kingston, you put him with Proud and Powerful, who are already not liking that MJF is in his shit. And that's where
that could work. And they have those options now, and that's part of why I like them bringing in Eddie. I think and his last LAX run over in Impact I thought was phenomenal when Conan was kind of over there, and they were doing a lot of stuff with the two LAX, the old school LAX versus the new school LAX, and all that stuff. That stuff went over great, I thought. Other things on the show, I have to mention the Red Velvet Ty Conti thing. and I will say her name the correct way and not however JR said it because that sounded highly offensive.
JR went through puberty.
Ty Conti. What?
Ty Conti? Oh God.
Yeah, it was a
dude. Did you see JR? Like seriously? Now he's just a human being, and he's like about 84 years old. He's been through a lot, and I'm sure he's trying his best most or some of the time. He twice. I don't even think he knew he did it. Where like they cut to a wide shot. I'm not going to explain anything else about it, but they cut to a wide shot, and he's just like, "Nice shot," or he just said something.
Yeah. No, he said exactly that. Nice shot, but it was clearly inappropriate the way and the time that he said it.
Yeah, and then also like on the pinfall too, which he said that he did the same thing on the pinfall. And I will, and it, my takeaway of all that is like, okay, the same JR, critique on what he's doing. But the new thing that I think really stands out though with that type of stuff, because it's also there's other female wrestlers that do the same thing. They're green and they don't know how to work the hard cam as far as modesty.
There was quite a bit of that in this match, and just work, but they don't know how to work the hard cam in general. Here's the thing that I thought was interesting. If you look at Ty Conti, she has more MMA experience than Thunder Rosa and more grappling experience, like real legit stuff. She's been wrestling for, I believe, 7 months less than Thunder Rosa, and that's about it. She's been on bigger stages than Thunder Rosa has at this point. But if you're looking at this match, like experience-wise, Red Velvet and Ty Conti have not been in wrestling that much longer than Thunder Rosa. Right. Why is Thunder Rosa so much clearly far and away better than these guys? And don't get me wrong, I really like these two. I thought that Red Velvet and Ty were in exactly the right position. They had the exact spotlight they should have. They had the exact match they should have. It was perfect for their skill level. It had some weaknesses to it. There's a little bit of slop around the edges. The mat work was good. A couple of the running high spots were good, but then the power moves were sloppy from both of them. And some of the running the ropes wasn't great. The timing was a half step off, but that happens with shorter performers in general, male or female. The timing running across the ring is a little different because you learn it a certain way with a certain amount of steps, but then your legs don't get there for that last step, and you're a half step short, literally. Yeah. So you saw some of that.
Yeah, I gotta say, Justin, it's the Stardom experience. That's why. It's a Stardom experience.
That's what 100%. It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I mean, I also want to add on to it. Like Ty Conti, I think from her NXT time, I think she looks a lot better, and all the positives about her performance. But her footwork, especially for someone who is trained in legit fighting, her footwork is abysmal.
It's sexy star level bad footwork.
But it can get improved. And also, like when she started doing the AEW stuff, she was tweeting about New Japan matches, and like, I have faith in both of them. But I think that what separates them from Mel for different reasons is the amount of reps and the amount of high quality reps that they have gotten in over the years. I mean, you have Ty in the Performance Center. You don't become a professional wrestler starting at the Performance Center from scratch. You just don't.
The competition that you're getting to matters. It's like, Ty wasn't getting high quality opponents, but Mel, when she was out there, she's not always getting high quality opponents either. But when she does, she seems to be taking full advantage of it. I know there was this one little small event that she wrestled Taya in LA. And I feel like at that moment, she sucked up every single thing she could from Taya. And then I know Serena and Mel have done work together, and Serena's a great trainer. Serena, I don't know, has the in-ring storytelling ability at times, but moveset wise and how to use her smaller frame, she is great at that, and she can teach the other performers that are in her same kind of vein all that stuff. And I feel like Mel picked up all that stuff from her and all these people that she's facing. And when she goes over to Japan and stuff, she is actually taking that stuff. And then she takes her MMA stuff and actually uses it. I mean, she's actually figuring out how to incorporate it. And these other performers, I feel like they're waiting to be told how to incorporate it instead of being proactive and trying to figure out how to incorporate it.
Yeah, just watch some UWF. It's not hard.
But
it's the greatest promotion ever.
Another thing
it is
that I
wing.
think when you talk to Mel about her training and about her influences and about her personal direction as a professional wrestler, learning like what she learns from, what she aspires to with her training, the goals that she sets, she doesn't look to be a female wrestler. She sets herself, she goes old school like that and wants to keep up with the guys. And I know that's old thinking, but it makes a difference. And you can see it when you see old school wrestlers like Jericho and Conan talk about her. And she doesn't like, they see immediately like, oh, she talks and recognizes, Carney in the business like them, And I think that makes a difference in her performances too. Right.
And that's part of where Lucha Underground helped too. And I know that part of where Lucha Underground helped too was Mel working with Sammy Guevara and a couple of those other people. And in Lucha Underground, especially towards the end, she wasn't training to be a female wrestler. She was working. She was the boys. She had to. Yeah. That was just the name of the game.
And that you see that in Ty. That's how Ty got over.
Mel is back. Yeah. She's doing the A. Yeah. And Mel's doing an AEW run right now. So we'll see where it goes and how it pans out. I don't think that she has a full contract there, kind of in talking about, where things panned out from before. But I think that she is there provisionally for now. So that's where she landed after all that hubbub.
So we talking like a Cardona deal
to get her belt back in the.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the full extent of it. Maybe she does have a full deal, but nothing has been officially announced about her being part of the roster officially.
There's a lot of sorry, I can't tell if you're pausing or you're freezing with how things have gone. But yeah, no, there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of the big selling point of wrestling is, wait till you find out. And there's a lot of that with Mel. Recently, Britt Baker started tweeting promos at her, and they're exchanging promos. Britt, who's essentially the biggest female star of AEW. She is their champ, but Britt is the bigger character. So that's a big deal. Ivelisse also chimed in on tweeting, but I don't know. I think that
Britt's where the money is for sure. Britt is absolutely.
And also, I don't want to.
The money is in AEW. That's the feud. And
I don't want to move on from Mel to the next subject without.
Go
ahead.
I think. No,
go ahead.
You're fine.
Okay, I wanted to plug Mission Pro because I think that played a big role in the decision to not sign with WWE, and it means a lot to Mel. And they're putting on great shows. And they're doing a great thing. And if you're going to watch something that's not one of the TV wrestling shows, you're going to stream something. Those Mission Pro shows, they're happening, and you should check it out.
Mission Pro is definitely fire. I still have my subscription, and I've been watching those. Hey, Casey, so let's talk quickly. The last thing actually about the episode I'm going to mention is Brandy got black as fuck, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nice for everyone else to get a chance to see the real Brandy Rhodes.
For those listening, just to be clear, that was not Byron or Casey who said that. But I will also agree in a way with you, in a way that's appropriate for me to agree. I thought that was her absolute best promo, and I think it took watching a new performer go out and suck the life out of a hot segment.
Yeah.
Well, and Brandy is a little bit street, but she got to be who she really was, and that's the real Brandy. She's a little bit black girl. She's a little bit, prim and proper. She actually walks both those lines just fine. She has her entire life. That's who she genuinely is, and I think that's why that promo works, because she can be classy and she can be, hood from the street if she needs to. That's the real Brandy, and she needs to be able to do more of that. Hey, Casey, the pay-per-view, what did you think of the Kingston Moxley match? I personally loved it.
I love the match, hated the finish. I said that if I didn't at least get one of the wins I wanted, I was going to stop watching. I didn't turn it off because Darby won his belt, which was great.
That was great.
But I really wanted Eddie to win, and I was really sad when he didn't. But you know what? It's making us want it more. So maybe they'll actually pencil it in, because Online had a shit attack bitching about how Eddie should have won, and they listen to that shit. So maybe we'll get it eventually now.
Well, Eddie showed up on Wednesday and said he's still going after it. He's still going to be world champ one day. Yeah, I feel the same way. But I think
I would have loved to have seen it.
Go for it. We're dealing with a little bit of a delay.
Oh no,
so,
I would have loved to have seen Eddie. I would have loved to have seen Eddie take that belt also, and I think that him dropping it almost immediately to Kenny Omega would have also been fine. But it didn't work out.
Yeah, as long as he gets it.
And so we'll get Moxley Omega, which I'm also okay with.
Yeah. I thought. Yeah, I mean, I really was rooting for Eddie, and I guess selfishly, I wanted to go that route with Eddie as a transitional champ. But I get it. I get like this is a big like a story plot point that they have had penciled in for at least a year when Mox got one over on Kenny, and they have to hit this note, and they can do an Eddie thing if they want later, but they have to hit this note kind of on time, and Kenny's ramping up, so like they can't stall Kenny for like another month, another pay-per-view cycle.
We'll see, because with the Young Bucks now having the tag titles, I worry that Omega is not actually the plan right now for the big belt, which I think would be a mistake on their part. I think now is the time they had to do an Omega run. But we'll see if that happens. I also like the deletion of Sammy Guevara segment. What?
I was going to say, who didn't think the Bucks were going to win when they did the Cody stipulation on the match? We'll never challenge for the titles again if we don't win. All right, guys.
I agree. I just didn't think. I mean, I figured they would win, but I hadn't really thought through how that would impact the main title picture. And it might be if all of the Elite is holding the gold again. I think that's a terrible storyline. So either the Bucks are going to need to drop for Kenny to pick it up, or Kenny is a longer term plan and they're not going to hotshot the belt onto him right now, like they should. But it's neither here nor there. And again, I liked the
can I ask you real quick?
I liked a lot of stuff on the pay-per-view. Did not like the Sheeta Nyla match at all. Go ahead.
I liked that match. I thought it was okay. I mean, so as far as like pacing and coordination and having a veteran ringside who knows how to use kendo stick, it wasn't the greatest, but I thought it was two athletes who laid into each other really hard, and that's what Nyla brings to the table when it comes to matches. And Sheeta, I thought, was actually throwing strikes, and it was working harder and snugger.
I'm not saying they didn't do what they were supposed to do. They did exactly what they're supposed to do. But man, I just couldn't have cared less. Like, if I never have to see the two of them wrestle each other again, I will be absolutely fine with that. I would rather watch a Lars Sullivan segment than watch that match again. That was just dismal to me. But in comparison, I thought Casey's boy, John number 4 Silver, was amazing in his match with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah,
Johnny Hungy
overachieved in many, many ways. And a lot of people were talking about it. John Silver is one to watch, man. I mean, I know he's a little smaller, so I don't know exactly where he fits in the grand scheme of things, but I'd love to see him in just a ton of mid-card matches. I'd love to see him get more time with Angelico and Jack somehow as well, because I think that would be a great addition to the AEW programming.
Have you guys seen the PWG match he had with he had a PWG match with Cage where he picked up Cage in the world's strongest slam / power slam position and repped him a bunch of times?
Were they the ones doing the big, like, little and big Cage gimmick?
No, but it was in the match. He's just like, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, he's a fun guy, and it's AEW has a good platform for the entertainers who are fun, like Orange Cassidy and and for silver.
And Jack Evans and Angelico, the two funnest wrestlers.
Jack Evans and Angelico are getting the spotlight again, which is awesome. And I love how Angelico, they're finding a way to use his llaves to mean more in the matches, where like he could just snap them on and finish the match with it. That's kind of cool. I wish they would show, my overall note to EW is to show Angelico vibing more.
Yes,
hey,
I wore their colors in solidarity.
Even though, look, it's dark here. The power is out, but I got good news for you. You know what the good news is?
That?
The good news is my balls are still clean shaven, even in the dark, with the power out, with the lawnmower 3.0, with the guide light on it.
Can you do the campfire flashlight?
You should do the monster face with the fucking light. Yeah. Dude, it's gonna smell like D&D and he's used it. It was it smells like AH. Woo, got him.
No, but seriously, like even in the dark with the guide light, when the power went out in the middle of me shaving the boys, I had zero problem. The skin safe technology kept the whole thing going right. So I gotta tell you, the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0 comes through in a clinch, even in the dark. Even in the dark where I can't read all this copy and stuff, I can tell you that the Lawnmower 3.0 is the way to go. So you guys gotta head over to manscaped.com, use our code MMM to get 20% off and free shipping right now, and that's available in America, the UK, Australia, and our 51st state to the north of Canada. So don't forget, 20% off, use code MMM, and you can get all their great products. What's your favorite product over there right now, Casey?
Oh, dude, right now, I would say that it is that amazing foot duster. Oh, love it, because I wear poorly ventilated dress shoes, and my feet smell great at the end of the day. It also has like this nice tea tree kind of smell to it. My dog likes it. Like if he smells my feet, he won't leave me alone. It's kind of weird, but yeah, dude, it's a solid product. I highly recommend it.
Oh, but that's cute. Say
my favorite.
I'm all about. I'm all about the crop preserver right now.
Yeah, I feel that is
pretty legit.
That crop preserver is going to make a big difference when we start going to indoor wrestling shows again. Hopefully, we'll improve the smell. Specifically,
dude, we should just buy some of the Manscaped gimmicks to sell out of our trunk to people before they walk in. You know, they can trim the boys and maybe make it smell a little better.
What I want to do is I want to run when we can, after we all get the vaccine. I want to run indie wrestling show. We should get together and produce this. And what we'll do at the door is you'll do temp checks. I don't know, maybe just it'll make people feel better because of the COVID thing.
Yeah.
And then also everyone needs to get a quick little with the crop dust before you go in.
Well, see, that's why we do the rectal thermometers. So then we take their temperature, we give them a little AH buzz so that they're feeling pretty clean, and we use less toilet paper in our bathrooms. Yeah.
And the wipes.
And then we they got to do the themselves though.
You can't come
we're already shaving there.
If you don't have a clean,
and look, there should be
undercarriage.
absolutely no complaints from any of these people, because these things are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, paraben-free, and you know that your manhood's going to be in good hands. All right, so listen, we got to go.
You know what they say about Christmas trees
and Lucha Central and find out everything that's happening this week on the Lucha Central Podcast Network.
Where are my toys?
Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo here in Lucha Central with a reminder of where and when to catch all of the great network content this week. Get the full lineup and listen to all of our shows in the podcast network section of luchacentral.com. Sundays on the Lucha Central Facebook page, world-traveled shooter of the camera kind, Jerry Villagrana goes mano a mano with a fellow photographer to throw down about some of their favorite photos they have taken at Lucha Libre events. Monday, Business of the Business returns as Mass Republic President Kevin Kleinrock takes you inside how your favorite Lucha Libre merchandise gets made. On Tuesdays, Mass Mats and Mayhem takes you inside the world of Lucha Underground as they take you weekly through the series with the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of special guests from the groundbreaking series. Check out the premiere video stream every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on the Lucha Central YouTube channel and at luchacentral.com. Then listen to it on your favorite podcast platform every Wednesday. Tuesday nights live, it's Wrestle Boss, where Favi Chulo talks MMA and pro wrestling with special guests and listener call-ins. Visit WrestleBossLive.com Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific to listen live or call in with questions or download the show on podcast platforms on Wednesdays. Wednesday nights live on Facebook, it's Spanish show La Mesa de los Márgaros, giving you both the news and the chisme from around the lucha world. Special guests and a whole lot of fun make it one of the most talked about shows in Mexico. Thursdays, it's Straight Out of the Bodega with Papo Esco and PWR promoter Gabriel Ramirez as they have guests from throughout the wrestling world pull up to give an inside look into their careers. From indie standouts to television superstars, each week brings a new name and perspective. On Friday, it's your double dose of Lucha Central Weekly podcast, one in English y el otro en español. Lucha Central Weekly is where you'll find all the top stories of the week, both inside and out of the ring from Mexico and anywhere luchadores are in action across the globe. Be sure to subscribe and follow all your favorite Lucha Central Network series on your favorite podcast platforms, either by their own series name or subscribe to the Lucha Central Podcast Network show pages to get all of the shows in one easy feed. And please consider giving a rating to help more fans find the shows that you love. For now, this is Denise Salcedo signing off from Lucha Central Central. Have a great week.
All right, so we're back and we're going to talk about Lucha Underground, our Lucha Underground Rewind this week. We're getting towards the end of season 1 now. Lucha Underground Season 1, Episode 27. And this is Ancient Medallions. So we're getting into another Lucha Underground concept here. First vignette, though, we've got... wow, I can't even see my notes. I'm looking at Candlelight. The first vignette is...
Dario looking at the medallions, and then you hear Matanza breathe. He's very, very intimidating.
Oh, he wasn't breathing, dude. You don't just breathe that loud. Matanza was jerking off.
To the medallions. Yeah,
he's
Dario
like,
had to sell. There's only so many hobbies you can pick up in a cell, you know?
Yeah, dude, he's fucking beating his pud like it owes him money.
Well, so Dario sold half of their dad's wealth or gold or something to get those made, which they sound pretty important, and we'll get the payoff later. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Actually, it's probably one of my favorite belts. What they end up turning into is one of my favorite belts in pro wrestling.
I could have got one once. Did I ever tell you about that? Chavo dropped one of the medallions right in front of me once, and I could have got it, but I thought he would like start putting the boots to me. He probably would have started putting the boots to me.
You should have gone for it. You shouldn't have been such a coward.
Dude, you saw the security guys and how they were just looking for an excuse to beat the shit out of me and everyone else.
Not you. But definitely, they had their eyes on other people. Which
I was a couple shades too light. Is what you're saying?
It's weird to have security hungry for that thing at a Lucha show, but you know, it's a TV show, not a wrestling show. So anyway, yeah. So there's that first vignette. Dario's like, I have these medallions. I did a lot to get them. They mean a lot. And Matanza's like, and then we go to the first match. We go to the first match, which is awesome. Aerostar versus a brand new luchador, El Mejor Luchador and Todo El Mundo, Jack Evans from the heavens.
My favorite part of Jack Evans is how he speaks Spanish like you. Despite living in Mexico and having a whole family there, speaks Spanish like you do.
Yeah, but he's I know, just like me, he has the gift of the gab, and he cuts a promo walking to the ring, which is amazing. And being there in person, it's an incredible thing to watch. And if you start cheering for him, then he starts cutting promos on you. And it was obvious, if you know the show's edited for time, that they definitely cut out 10 minutes of him walking around cutting a promo And like,
I'm sure 5 of those minutes was shitting on Vic. Like I guarantee it. Yeah. I think this is the last episode before we started going, because I'm pretty sure our first show had the office window boarded up, if I remember correctly.
I don't know if I saw. I mean, I remember it happening on TV. But
we didn't see the head go through, but we saw the boarded up window, I think.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna make a pause so I can, as a cut point. Justin's saying he needs to charge his phone, so he's suggesting that we do the video game section now, and we do so that way we can resume the episode thing when he comes back.
And we're back 6 hours later, and my power's back on. I love it. You guys want
yeah. So
the Cleveland goes on the wall of shame.
Oh,
we had a great match. We were talking about Aerostar versus Jack Evans. Jack Evans looked great through the whole match, but Lucha Underground booking is Lucha Underground booking, so of course he lost.
But I like this match.
But here's good.
I did too.
It was a good debut for Jack too. I mean, he was definitely over with the crowd, got a ton of heat right off the bat, and by the end, the crowd was cheering for him. You can't beat that.
I'm surprised he didn't go over, because he has everything that the booking looked for. He's white.
Yeah. Check.
Yeah, that's it.
And check. I guess that's all you need, huh?
Yeah, but Aerostar needed a win. He just came off the Drago thing.
Yeah. But everyone jobs in their first match in the temple. And I kind of respect that gimmick. You know, that
they stole it from ECW, but sure.
Yeah. But I respect that. But it doesn't mean that he didn't get to show off. I don't know if they knew he was doing it, but he definitely got to cut a long ass promo on the way to the ring that they abruptly cut down.
Well, dude, to be fair, Jack kind of went into business for himself a lot on his promos, and I don't think that a lot of TV. No, it was great, and I think they got some magic out of it over the course of the 4 seasons, and they used a lot of it. But there was also times when it's like, yeah, Jack, we hadn't really planned on you vamping for 6 minutes, so we're going to only be able to use maybe 30 seconds of that. Mm-hmm. But it always got the crowd fired up. I mean, Jack was
we were entertained. We were super into it. That's why Jack Evans was one of my favorite wrestlers before he even stepped foot in the Lucha Underground temple. But still.
Agreed. Now, how many people do you think knew who he was when he debuted here in Lucha Underground? It seemed like the crowd felt a little unfamiliar.
Everyone that's cool knew who he was. Let's put it that way. There were still some chumps in the audience. I'm not going to say that.
I gotta think everyone in the temple, most of the people who would be at the temple would know.
This isn't the season 4 crowd. Let's put it that way.
He was a big AAA star for forever. He's probably like 75 right now, and he just looks 32.
Well, it's also one of those things where it was like, by this point in time in Lucha Underground, the bleacher section, the believers section was smart, but the rest of the crowd was still being packed with like MGM people and people getting bussed in from Universal or wherever. I mean, there was a lot of people who were not exactly in the know at the time. And then by the second season, though, when it became the hot ticket, like the second and third season, especially once the PWG fans all started showing up too, it was just like it was all smart crowd, except for, of course, Ultima Lucha. And that's a whole nother story that we'll get into at some other point in time.
Can you guys sit down?
I can't even believe that at a Lucha Underground Ultima Lucha during fire matches, people were asking us to sit down. I can't even, I still can't fathom it to this day. It's the stupidest thing ever. Wall of shame for sure.
Wall of maximum shame.
So Aerostar did a super cool rope walk, a Phoenix-like rope walk, and then he also went over with the flippy power driver off the top rope, middle rope, whichever one.
It was the top. It was the top, which is special because everyone else does it from the middle. So his was different and stood out.
Those are the 2 highlights for me, but they were just phenomenal. Jack is just great. He threw on an STF out of, I don't know, it looked like he was going for a hip toss, and next thing you know, he has Aerostar in an STF.
Dude, I just like the front flip splash from the top of the ring grate, which is, a second story there. It's almost, 2 levels, and then straight to the floor to the mats, just one layer of mats, and then slam the child on the hard concrete. Like it is those little mats are not a whole heck of a lot there. And it's not a gym floor that's wood either. That is just straight up slab underneath those mats.
He did that on Dynamite last week too, I think.
Yeah, he's insane, and he did it exactly right. No pain, no injury, nothing out of the ordinary. Now, can I ask? There's a little talk on commentary. Is Jack really on the level of Hayabusa or Sasuke? Are we putting Jack there?
Okay, yes. I would say he's better than Sasuke ever was. As great as Sasuke is. Hayabusa 50-50. It depends on what part of the career you're talking about, but Hayabusa was on a whole other level from a lot of other people.
But does Jack hit as hard? Is Jack as crisp as Hayabusa?
Okay, yes, he wasn't super hard hitting. Sasuke would beat the shit out of people if he didn't like him. Like the dirt bike kid, if you ever saw that match, holy fucking shit. And I gotta say though, as far as getting his props, he doesn't get his props as much as either of them, and it's a fucking travesty and a crime committed still to this day by one Antoine Khan Esquire.
But even in AAA, he wasn't getting he doesn't get, he's always a supporting guy, even in AAA. Like
do you think he's gonna be one of those guys who is higher regarded after his career or later in his career than he is at the height of it? I feel like he might be.
Because I think now people are just starting to regard his ROH stuff. Like it's been making gifts everywhere, and then people are like, "Oh shit, this dude's still wrestling? What's up?"
Yeah,
I thought he would be dead
still
by
doing
now.
all those things.
Yeah.
There's just something about him. He's kind of a fringe type of guy, and there's just something about him that's not really, I don't want to say connected, but not really hit on all cylinders as far as being utilized on American TV.
Here's the other question. Did Jack Evans invent Lucha Libre? Because he says he did.
I mean, if he says it.
Modern Lucha Libre, which is completely different.
To me, it's almost amazing that he wasn't in Lucha Underground before this point. Do we know if he wrestled dark before this at all? I almost imagine that he would have, but I don't know if they were even doing dark stuff then.
Yeah, they were doing dark stuff, but not that I saw with him anyway. I don't think so.
No, it was
because we had Marty get fucking smoked on that dive and out injured for a long time from dark matches. So there definitely were dark matches, and we had El Bunny in dark matches as well.
It's so weird to me too, because to me, Jack is so indicative of the style of Lucha Underground and what is great about it that it feels like he should have been here sooner. And maybe this is part of why it gets better from this point on. Jack kind of raises the bar in this match alone. And Aerostar, doing his ring ropes runs and being Aerostar and doing something completely different than every other match you've seen him in Lucha Underground so far. Is just excellent. All right, let's talk about Vignette number 2. Mac is talking to his cousin, Big Rick. Yeah. Yes, this is still going. Now they don't seem to be as associated with Kill Shot, but Mac and Big Rick, they're still pushing this cousin thing.
And it was a pointless segment. Really? Big Rick just said, I'll kick my cousin's ass if the money's right. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah,
could Matt Stryker have just said that on commentary?
But he's not privy to that. He wasn't in the room when they talked.
I guess so.
That's true.
I thought it was good because that coupled with the next segment, it gave some attention to Mac.
It did. I mean, it gives a little bit of the rub to the Mac, and you're starting to know not necessarily what his character is or who his character is, but that he at least has a character. I mean, that's it's like, yes, hey, this guy is a character on this show. You're welcome.
Yeah, because it was like before they're like, let's give him a coat so people think he's a pimp. That was their whole character idea for him.
I think basically what they're saying with this segment is the Mac is not Ricky Mandel. That's all they're really saying.
Really, yes. And
hey, Ricky does make an appearance in this episode also, but we'll get to that.
Kayfabe.
All right.
What I took away from it was that, he was here, or he was at the temple and happy to be there with family and to compete. And then, that got taken away. Like his cousin, you know, was like, I'll fuck you up, man, if I get paid enough. And so now Mac is like, I got to make a name for myself. I got to earn my own way through here. And then he shows up. He's one of the late people to the ring. I don't know what that was about, but he was one of the late people to the ring for the
Byron, you're just trying to say he's on CP time.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't
really, because you were talking about it earlier when Justin
Cabbage Patch time. Cabbage Patch time. Cabbage Patch kids are always 15, 20 minutes late. Can I tell you a story? Listen, there was this movie theater. There was this movie theater where I was growing up in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, called Severance Movie Theater. And since I'm back in Cleveland, this no power having crap hole of a town. Wall
of shame.
Yeah, completely.
Well, shit.
I was thinking about it the other day, and it's like, it was hilarious. They had a big regular multiplex that got built off the new food court or whatever, and they showed all the regular movies, but then they turned their twin theater that was in the middle of the mall into like a black movie theater. They would show they would show black movies and canon movies. I actually saw The Barbarians in the theater. I've seen a couple of sweet ones, but it was hilarious because when the black movies were going there, they would put a start time, and legit, they would not even start the credits till 10 or 15 minutes later. Literally, the movies ran on CP time. And you don't want to know the scarier thing about it?
Yes.
It worked perfectly. It was hilarious to me. Like, I went to see a couple of like, I'm going to get you sucker or something over there. It was supposed to be at 3:35. They didn't start the trailers until 3:45, 3:50. The audience rolled in around 4:00, and it was packed. It was perfect. They would sell it out all the time. But literally, somebody cracked the CP code and just straight ran the black theater on CP time. It was hilarious.
I don't know about the timing of it, but in Burbank, they've turned the inside the mall theater into an Indian movie theater now. Have you noticed that?
No, that's kind of cool though.
Mall.
Are they showing like lots of cool Bollywood stuff and like some of those cool Indian action movies? India's got some dope movies, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, Bollywood Nightmare on Elm Street better than half of the sequels.
Amazing. Legit. I'm sorry, I totally got off on a tangent, but yes, the Mac was on CP time for the 7 luchadors coming to the ring for a special opportunity.
Yeah, which is a shot at immortality, which could mean anything. Because Dario doesn't elaborate, because I don't think the writers decided what the fuck was going on yet.
Well, but I would say that this was more accurate than some of Dario's statements, because that belt that is coming that we haven't seen yet at this point is immortal. It's the best belt ever made. I love that belt. Anyway, so Dario has found in that first vignette the Aztec medallions, and now he's giving one person out of 7. I thought that, you bring out 7 people, you give out 7 medallions, but no, he's giving out one medallion to one of these 7. And who do we have? We've got Penta, Sexy Star, Killshot, Cage, Cuerno, Phoenix, and CP Time Mac.
7 people right there.
7.
That means.
It's all right. We'll work on it, Byron. You were talking earlier about scratches.
It means
TV.
he has cerebral palsy, Byron. Jesus Christ.
Ooh.
There, I explained it.
Byron, you know how you like
he's an inspiration.
You like hockey? There was a point in time when I actually liked hockey, but when my dad got remarried, my stepmother moved in and she had this console television, and it had a scratch, a nick in the screen right there. There's a little black mark right there. So I used to try to watch hockey, but it always looked like the puck was right there, and you could never follow what was going on because you would think that the puck was right there all the time. So then I gave up on hockey, and I was like, look, clearly this is something for white folks, because black folks with scratches in their TV can't find the puck. So puck you. Does that
puck you, Byron?
You gave up that easily? It's a wonderful sport.
It was like 2 years, man, of trying to watch hockey.
Did you ever?
Yeah, they put like all kinds of CGI on the puck and shit, so you can't miss it. Like it's.
Were you? No, they don't do that. No, Fox.
The only sport where that enhanced stuff has ever worked to me is football with the first down yard line. That seems.
I don't know. I don't know. Did you ever see AAA when they tried doing it for their replays? Oh, it was fucking amazing. They had like laser beams and X-rays and shit. It was so good.
I don't watch too much football, so every now and then I'll tune back in, and it looks like a game of Madden. It's just fantastic.
It does look like it's gone the other direction now, where Madden is no longer, emulating the game. The game is now emulating Madden. It's kind of strange.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we talk about that a little bit later in the episode when we talk about a video game that would be in higher resolution than the actual show it's based on. So,
is that how you're going to do that, Byron? Yeah. See, I'm totally out of the loop because I was literally without power for a while. So these guys kept recording. You're going to put that at the end, it'll come after this, or you're going to put it before this? Cool.
Yeah, after.
This is so meta. I love it.
Yeah. Well, also, we don't really have a transition from when I was like, hold on, Casey, let's just stop and figure out what we're doing.
And then you restarted. So you're going to take this and from our other conversation, this is going to be so creepy and weird, and you guys are going to love it.
It's also nice.
Yeah.
For those.
Yeah, we look all different. You guys are wearing different fucking clothes. At least I committed to the part and didn't change.
Well, we had no heat on here, and it is still Cleveland in November, so it's freezing cold as the heat's coming back up from no power all day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, so I still have on the same clothes, but I did have to add layers. Plus, I'm not in candlelight anymore.
I missed the candlelight.
Oh, that's going to look pretty different. Yeah, that's going to look different. You're not going to look like you're doing like 90s Kane promos anymore.
True. Now, so
by the way, so one of the librarians has now turned into the Continental. He got his he changed gimmicks. You know,
John Wick, the Continental?
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Go further back. SNL. He's
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, he's. I'm sure it's an extension of what he was doing before the librarian, but it is spot on the elevator promo that they did.
Yeah, I love Peter Avalon. I don't want to like blow up his spot, but there's not one person I saw come up that works harder than that guy and deserves all the success in the fucking world. Yeah. When I was filming wrestling schools for my documentary, he was the guy that was there every single time.
Kudos for him. Well, he's on the come up and he's still in the right spot. Like, I don't think he's going anywhere. They're just going to keep playing with his gimmick until it really super duper gets over.
I mean, he's one of the bigger stars of Dark. He just had a huge like blood grudge match, whatever, huge culmination to a feud on Dark. That was a big deal for two guys who hadn't even won a single match ever in AEW.
I got to watch Dark this week too, because Mel's got a match on Dark as well as on Dynamite this week. She's doing the double up.
Who's she wrestling on Dark? It was someone where I was like, that's a good match. Shit.
Some ice woman, I think.
Lady Snow or whatever, right? Something like that.
Yeah, she's pretty dope. So that's going to be a good one. And then she's going for the NWA title.
Yeah, which is going to be a big deal. Some cool things I thought in this 7-way match. First of all, it is not a 7-way tag. There's no tagging in and out. It's 7 first to a pinfall, which I didn't necessarily mind. Like, if you're going to do this kind of weird deal, and they did it right. Like, a bunch of people bump out, and pretty quickly you find Penta facing off with Fenix, which was also the correct way to start this match. I thought of some of the weird schmaz kind of matches that they've done was the best one probably so far of the pointless setup kind of things. And I thought the flow worked. You got to see Penta face off with Fenix. And that worked great. You got to see Swerve and Escobar. I mean, Killshot and Phantasm. I mean, what the hell gimmick was he doing that day?
They're laying seeds for the foundation.
I mean, look, this is a rivalry that's still going today in NXT, and it was just as good then. And those guys are starting to learn each other. And I like Swerve here doing a lot of like lucha type rope work. Like, he really feels like he was paying close attention to trying to bring his style into Lucha Libre style. Like, this dude is watching.
I feel like he was working out with Fenix before this too, because there was so much rope stuff that it's like, all right. You've been hanging out with Rope Guy himself,
Dude, this is one of the things that got me so excited about Killshot. Like, I was starting to wane on Cuerno already, and I was getting excited about Killshot because I knew of him as Swerve and seen some of the Swerve stuff. And here's a guy that you could tell was actively excited about the process of what Lucha Underground was doing at the time. because that certainly was not the case
Back
in
then.
season 4.
Yes. Let me lose my mask. Call me Jermaine, whatever you want. Just get me the fuck out of here. Yeah.
But it was weird too, because all the way up until the end of season 3, you never saw that slip from him at all. And that gap between 3 and 4, he was getting over on the indies, and he was completely done. He was getting teased by WWE and some other places. I think he was
MLW.
so over Lucha Underground at the end, but he still came and did it. He was like, he did the way that EV Dub wanted everybody to do it, which is like, look, if you want out because this whole system isn't working for you, tell us, give us a chance to write you out. And for Swerve, he was like, at the time, it's like, okay, 4 weeks of work to get me out of this mask and get me off this show, or my contract freed up with the possibility of still coming back if I wanted to, because there was no hard feelings with Swerve at all. Mm-hmm. He did the right thing. Everybody else bitched and complained or didn't and waited too long, and then they were mad because they didn't get what they wanted. He went in, said what he wanted. They told him, like, okay, we'll give you what you want if you do this for us. And for him, he was like, it's 4 weeks of taping and we'll write the character off. I can do that. I'll cancel 2 indie bookings and fine. And then after that, I'm out of my contract, free and clear, and I can go to WWE or wherever. No, why did nobody else do that? I'm so baffled by that.
It's wild. And
well, didn't Sami Callihan do that and then change his mind and stayed, because it seemed like they really wrote him off? Yeah,
no, because he didn't do the same thing, because he wanted out immediately. He said he would do 2 days or something for them to write him off, instead of giving them time to play out the storyline. And you already know Joseph was sweating the storyline stuff because all the visas had gotten screwed. Mm-hmm. So Sammy then ended up getting stuck because he was trying to make demands instead of working with them, and I think, Swerve actually called him up and worked out a deal, and
he
got paid for it too.
Got a great send off, and he still could come back, but
and he ended up at WWE same time as everybody else, and with more money in his pocket and less sweat during that downtime. Like Cuerno was on our show talking about how he was sweating it when he finally got let loose from his thing. He had nothing in front of him. Nothing. Mm-hmm.
And he also was leaving AAA at the time too.
That's what I'm saying. He left the whole thing. He got out of his Lucha contract, finally got out of this, that, and the other thing, but he had nothing on the horizon because he hadn't done it soon enough, and he hadn't done it the right way. Now, given for the AAA performers and the guys coming out of Mexico, it's a whole different conversation than Swerve calling up EV Dub and saying, hey, bro, what can we work out to get me out of this contract? The guys in Mexico didn't really have that luxury.
No, initially. I mean, what you had a guy like Jack Evans who was like, I'm quitting because he's just a weird guy. And then he'll eventually, he can maybe come back. But you didn't really have that type of freedom until it's like Fenix and Penta, and like Fenix was sweating it. Mifa's talked about that.
He was sweating it bad.
But those are two guys who were on top of the non-WWE wrestling world at the time. And so
when they were going to Chicago, they were getting top dollar. They were getting as much as any former WWE guy out on the indies. They were getting the real money for a few of those shows.
So, and rightfully so, they told AAA to fuck off. They changed, like Conan said, they changed a lot of the working conditions to bring stars back. But like, they were guys who could say, fuck you to AAA and then make all their money in the States and never come back. And AAA had to come back to them. And, there's intellectual property issues, but basically it took someone who could afford, who is a bigger star than the company, I think, than AAA to be able to do that.
It's worth it. I want to point out a couple of other things I really liked about this match. You got to see Cage do the 619, which becomes the 559 later. His version of it, which for a big man, it's still kind of just cool to see. This is the second time I think we've seen it in Lucha Underground so far.
Yeah.
And I noticed in this match, Phoenix's step up in Seguri is probably the best one ever in history
because he just really so hits you.
Yeah, he still
you.
slaps his leg, but he slaps his leg at the same time he's hitting you, so you get the double of the sound and the effect. Like it, and the step up is perfect, and he lays all the way to the side into it. Like it's just vicious. Yeah. It's freaking flawless.
It's as good as Kawada's, and that's not faint praise there, but Kawada doesn't.
No, not at all. And also, I like the cage catching Phoenix's dive, and then the dive on top of that, and then Cuerno's arrow from the depths of hell on Swerve. Once again, that whole kill shot. I'm sorry, whatever.
That looked awesome.
It was great. It looked great. I think the one from 2 weeks ago was a little bit better than this one, but still, you can tell that these guys are finally. I think this is when the locker room started to gel. These guys were excited about this match. They were having fun. They were going hard. Maybe a little too hard, but it certainly wasn't to any dislike of mine. And then and Casey's going to hate me for saying this, but I've said it before, Penta does know how to work with the female talent, and once again made Sexy Star not look like a piece of crap, but also, package pile driver. So it made me feel a little bit better. I mean, she actually bumped in this match a few times and didn't just try to get over on everyone. I think because she had no part of the finish, really.
It's weird. I can't, you bring that up, and now I'm trying to think of when I've seen her really bump. And I haven't seen her bump except for when Penta.
No, this might be one of the first matches in Lucha Underground to this point.
Or when Big Rick kind of made her bump, much to everyone's chagrin.
I don't think Cheerleader Melissa gave her. I don't think Cheerleader Melissa gave her whole much of a choice either. I think Sexy Star was forced to bump in that match quite a bit.
And she had to take the fucking vertebraker too from
those are great
there.
I can't wait for those to pop up.
Yeah, but so the finish wasn't great here. Whatever that Rana was with
Moonsault.
It was a reverse Rana.
It was a reverse Rana that
Poison Rana.
Phoenix hit on Penta.
Yeah, but he punched him in the head like a monkey first. Like he got he's fucking going crazy.
It was a quick pin off of a legit move, and it was a clean finish. At least with a 7-person match, you would think that they would go to some kind of not clean finish, but
it was kind of cool though, because it was a monkey kung fu move. It wasn't just a lucha move, and I was pretty into that from the network that used to play dope martial arts movies.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe they will. Speaking of which, I'm going to throw this in right here. So the big bad guy in the room from Lucha Underground is gone. And to me, that big bad guy, as much as Dario has taken crap, or EB Dub has taken crap at times, or El Rey Network has taken crap, I think that the worst entity in the entire setup of Lucha Underground was always Univision.
Krista Joseph.
Was Univision.
I love Krista Joseph. By the way, DeJoseph goes off the wall of shame this week.
What? He was never on it, first of all. Second of all, we know Krista Joseph has finally unblocked Byron. And I believe that Krista Joseph is turning over a new leaf. He's doing a face turn right now. We'll see if the face turn sticks with the fans, but I know the last real heels were flabbergasted by DeJoseph's face turn and probably disgusted. So that's a pretty effective face turn. If the last real heels aren't happy with you, that means you're a face.
Yeah,
so you're lucky.
Who knows? I mean, the heels might have something to say about it or other things soon too.
We'll see. I've seen them churning the mill a little bit there. They're making some butter somewhere.
But it was nice for a DJ to make a public announcement.
No. Wait. It was nice for you. It was nice for you.
It was very nice for everyone.
I was almost as disgusted as the heels, even though I'm a
should we put DJ on the Hall of Shame just for this display?
He may be. I am definitely going to have to consider.
I like it because one, he said I was his favorite, and so on this show,
I don't remember that.
Maybe a broader range of people too. But
I'm pretty sure Casey's his favorite.
He said I was his favorite, and so he unblocked me, and it was really great and really nice. And then also, I need to get him a shirt. By the way,
yeah, it's in that pile.
It's in a bag behind me. Then also
that shirt that I gave Byron $100 to fucking give to him, and he still hasn't given to him.
Yeah, but I have a friend. Oh, I wonder if he's working at Big Brother.
Here's the thing about the shirt for DJ, and this is a compliment to DJ. That shirt's going to be too big for him now.
Yeah, because DJ's fucking ripped now. That's right.
Yeah, he was probably honestly at his heaviest when we made that shirt, and is probably at the slimmest and most trimmed down he's been in a long time, and keeping it too, bro. He's been there for a minute.
Good for
him. Man
is
svelte.
Yeah. So
and looking healthy. Skin looks better too.
Yeah. I sent he's radiant, you know. I sent him
Glowing.
my short film, Delusions of Morons. He
said it was a piece of shit.
He liked it, and he told me what he liked about it. It was very nice about him.
You know,
there's somebody else that's
if
supposed to do
only,
that.
yeah, you don't even know. We already taped that segment. Holy
Oh, great. I can't wait to
shit.
hear it coming up. Love these
Oh.
teasers. It's so meta.
Yeah.
All right, so let me go back on to these vignettes. So yeah, Phoenix won that big match there, and he gets the first medallion. Phoenix gets a lot of firsts in Lucha Underground, so this is one of the first of his firsts. So he was also the first to kill Mil Muertes. Anyway, we get a double up vignette here, and this one worked better than the last time they did this, I thought. But,
yes.
we get Dario talking to the Unlikely Trio and basically setting them up for a ladder match, and looking at Evie like, look, you guys got jacked up as a tag team by the Crew, so really they're in line, and somehow that logic makes sense. But
no, it totally does, because he's trying to fuck them. It's fine. It's totally fine.
And in
he said, hey, if you can't do a ladder match, I'll just strip you of the title right now. So they're like, fuck it, we'll do it.
Now, this is you know, I go back and forth on Evie, but I will say that this is the absolute high point in time for me with Ivelisse. Not only does she say that she is still down to fight even with the broken leg and the cast, but as they're walking out of the office, she also turns to Son of Havoc and says, "Can you be any slower?" She actually says it to him. I just want to sample that and put it into all their matches. Just Evie standing in the corner. Can you be any slower?
I just love that the girl effectively with one leg on crutches is shitting on him for being slower too. Like it just made it so great.
You mean how slow he's moving, right?
Yeah. His walking. His walking.
Yes.
That's all I mean. Yes. There was that, and it sets up the big ladder match, which I believe will be next week. And it's a ladder match. Not only are they gonna, you got to ask yourself, okay, so here's the funny thing about it, because yes, this is in a segment, but this is also a shoot of like Evie was legit hurt,
right? And
legit said backstage like she would do the ladder match, and said that she could work out plenty of stuff to do in the ladder match to make it interesting. And Joseph and Evie Dub signed off on it. We're like, okay, we're doing a ladder match with Evie in a cast, which is amazing.
And it was a good match. And that also answers the question me and Byron have in a later segment, to if we were at the show next week or not. We're not. No. This is going to be so confusing for none of you, because it's all going to make sense when you listen to the whole episode. So stop crying.
Just keep listening. It all clears up. So the second part of this segment, Katrina is talking to Fenix.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have an issue with this scene.
I bet you do. Go tell me what it is.
Okay. First of all, she puts the mouth on Phoenix. She talks shit. Yeah. This is for the visual audience, not the sound audience. He tries to grab her.
Jerome, bring me my mirror.
He grabs her and she disappears, right?
Yeah.
He goes and grabs her like this, but his hands are frozen like this when he comes to. I'm just saying that's how it was.
You were saying he had the Tata hands.
To be fair,
he did. For our audio listeners.
To be fair, how was she? Well, how do you say this? How do you say this?
He should have had her in like a collar and elbow tie up from the way they were standing.
To say this properly, which is why Justin's video is.
No, I'm here. I am listening intently.
So
say it, Byron.
He was sitting down, so he was at a lower height, and she was standing, so she had to come down to him to talk to him. So she leaned forward quite a bit. And I could just, it's not appropriate in any case.
Okay.
Touch or grab or whatever without consent.
Correct.
Especially if they're a ghost.
Even if she's like 900 years old, it's still not okay?
Dude, it's like necrophilia, dude.
If she doesn't want it, then you can't. But but I definitely when you point out where his hands were in the way and basically what he was looking at the whole time, it makes sense.
Her boobs is what you're trying to say, right? Her boobs.
The big payoff. No, he meant the rock that was in her hands. First of all, he was trying to grab the stone.
The rock wasn't in her hands, but also I bet he didn't even know a single word that she said the whole time.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm
okay. Just checking. And
then we cut to after she disappears and has her threats. We cut to the really shitty looking disciples of death. I forgot how horrible they used to look before they got their makeover.
So is this the real Trece, Barrio Negro, and Sinestro de la Muerta?
It is. But their masks look like the shittiest fucking Alvera Street skull mask that you could possibly buy.
Is it wrong that I knew instantly which one was Argenis?
Well,
he had the tattoo.
and then he wears a shirt.
For those who don't know, and Casey will kill me for saying this, the disciples are Ricky Mandel, Argenis, and Loco as Sinestro de la Muerta.
We've talked to two of them about it too.
Yeah. Ricky, come on our show, bro. We love you. And
I think Ricky probably would.
Favorite.
We just haven't had any chance to even try to book Ricky. He likes a lot of our posts and everything, but our schedule, Ricky, we'll reach out to you soon and try to get you on the show, because I definitely would like to talk to you about this character and creepy doll things too. I think that's important.
I just want to talk to him about how like we were cheering him, beating up the Unlikely Trio at Ultima Lucha, so he started beating them up more in front of us, and it was so great.
Dude, you play to where you're over, man. You play to your wrestling is always about playing to your base. Always.
So they're like their heels, they're like the big bad heels, and facing the plucky underdogs. And we just thought they were so cool. We just were cheering them so hard.
So I started a Trace chant. How much?
Trace. Like most even hardcore fans of Lucha Underground could not even remember that his character's name was Trace. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So all boobs aside, did the story that Katrina is weaving here make sense that the whole thing was a setup? She needed Fenix to beat Mil Muertes so that Mil Muertes could be reincarnated using the power of Phoenix's 1,000 lives.
That's so
yes, cool. Because it works. Knowing where it goes, it's like, holy shit, this was their plan all along. Do I think it was really their plan all along? No, I think they were going to turn Katrina and change their mind.
Yes, and I think that this is definitely... I feel like this is Christopher Roach retconning for the purpose of better story. And I think that this happens several times in the Lucha Underground canon. And I feel like this is one of the better ones.
Yeah.
I feel like they were always going to bring Mil back, though, because they wanted him to be their Undertaker. So, of course, he's got to die like 17 times,
Yeah. I mean, they didn't start him off in pajamas, because that was the only bit of use they were going to get out of him.
Pajamas. Does he come back immediately without the pajamas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank God. I am anti the pajamas.
Yeah, he came with the cool black pants and fucking murders Phoenix's first match back. That's the show we were at for the first time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was I at that one?
Yeah.
I was there for that because that was the same one where that was 2 tapings and Drago came back at the end of the second one, right?
Oh, maybe.
Right, and it's the one where they threw Fenix through not the office, but the other thing behind the commentators, and then the disciples dragged him off, and then they never explained what the fuck the disciples did with him on the show.
I believe I remember all of that. We were sitting at the top of the bleachers for that.
He got the Jesus walk off.
Yeah, he got the Jesus walk off, which they might have cut off the show actually, and that would explain why they never talked about it again.
Interesting.
Huh. It'll be interesting to talk about when that episode airs.
Yeah, well, I'm curious to see it again because I haven't watched a lot of this season 1 stuff since a long time ago. I've rewatched more of seasons 2 and 3, especially after we had started doing the podcast. But these early episodes, we never have talked about on the show either. So, all right, let's talk about Hernandez versus Alberto El Patron. Here's my entirety of my notes. Big names, decent wrestling. Nothing really special, but I mean, nothing bad about it. But it wasn't.
I felt like Alberto wasn't concerned at all about making any of Hernandez's shit look good, and Hernandez was concerned about making Alberto's shit look good.
Yeah. And he did, but it was standard. It just felt like any normal wrestling show. It could have been WWE, could have been AAA, it just was nothing exciting. Alberto was plenty over with the crowd. The story was moving where it needed to move.
The crowd was still hot enough for it.
Well, yeah, it's Alberto.
I don't get why.
And Hernandez.
I don't get why a big heel turn is such a shocker when you fucking telegraph it for 6 weeks, but the audience didn't see that for 6 weeks.
Right.
That's the thing. They didn't see them constantly teasing this heel turn.
But see, I thought this was really great for Mundo because he starts to really find his groove as a heel, because he always had that sort of aura about him in Lucha Underground. But like
versus Alberto having it in real life.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there's that, but also like I also felt them doing this, especially with how the show is taped. He really had to work the gimmick, work the heel gimmick, because the next taping they went to, no one saw the episode yet. So he had to he had to get over every single time, and that probably sharpened him up even more.
Made him work harder as a heel. Well, and this heel turn moment is great for him too. I mean, literally throwing Alberto through the window made a big splash. It totally was very successful, and it's the first time in Morrison's career he'd been heel before, but he had always been like comedy heel or sneaky sly heel. But this is like the first time where he just went full aggro, like, I'm pissed about this, I have a chip on my shoulder heel, and had to play it straight at first too. Now later he gets to ham it up and do some of the sneaky underhanded kind of heel stuff and be a little Jericho-esque in his nature, or Ric Flair-esque. But this time he's just straight anger, throws him through the window. Everybody there loved Alberto. He was the big, Latino star that came from WWE. He was the big name without having Rey Mysterio as big a name as you were going to get for Lucha Libre. Mm-hmm. So throwing him through the window, completely hurt, works. Hernandez taking the cheap win, and kind of, I love the 3.5 second pause where he's just like, the match is still going. There's no DQ. Okay. I don't know what these rules are, but I'll take the win.
It's like, hey,
because everyone else was like, yeah, there's no disqualification for that. All right.
It happened outside the ring.
The rules are very fluid in Lucha Underground. If you hadn't noticed, it's kind of up to the ref to just decide from moment to moment if there even are any rules.
Maybe the ref
didn't see.
And
so he just was like, that's weird that he ran through that window.
He was trying to escape Johnny, that coward.
Well, this was part of whoever agented this match probably should have put in some type of ref bump or ref distraction, but I believe it's Marty Elias, right? And he's actually over at the window at one point doing the ref thing, the big move. Oh my God, big move.
Like, what the fuck happened?
I'm waiting for something to happen in my earpiece to figure out what we do next. Big move, big move.
How great was it for Stryker after the match or during the match to send out concern to Alberto's wife and children? Like, how did he know that he had them locked up in a cage and was beating them at the time?
No, that wasn't the concern. He was concerned that he wasn't going to be home on time for them in the next 4 or 5 months as he was traveling around the world with some other wrestler person. Just saying. Want to make sure you get home on time.
You know what? What's the overhead on all of the people and women that Alberto El Patron has kept in cages and beat the fuck out of?
So what you're saying?
R. Kelly plus 2.
Yeah. Okay. So still less than Rick James. Is that what we're talking?
Less than Rick James, more than R. Kelly. That's right.
Okay.
Right? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, but Rick James, you have to add cocaine to the overhead, which
cocaine.
It was on both overheads. Let's
That's true.
not.
That's true. That's
yeah.
I want to piss on you. All right, so let's move on. This was not a great way to end to me, but at the same time, it was the big storyline. These are the big names. You got the big names in the match. And at the time, I wasn't mad. So I guess I'm not mad about this match now. I just wasn't I watched this whole episode. I really liked the 7-way thing. I loved the Aerostar Jack Evans match. Like,
good match.
66% of this, I liked the vignettes. I felt like they moved the story. I liked Ivelisse. So, overall success. I just, I felt like Hernandez had been doing pretty good in the weeks leading up to this, and this kind of took the heat off of him. And clearly one of these three guys is putting himself over on a different level. But he took the window shot. He took the candy glass.
Because he got some time off for it.
This is a big thing. So
sucks he didn't take an arm break for this time off.
I wonder if that was the consolation, because like he was going to get time off, and they're like, "Well, let's do an arm break, get Penta over," and he's like, "No."
Oh, I didn't finish talking about the other thing I was talking about before, which is the important Lucha Underground news. Univision is out of the El Rey business. Now you say, why does this have anything to do with Lucha Underground at this point in time? It's not on TV. It's not on the air.
Does it have anything to do with Lucha Underground at the moment?
So here's the thing. This opens the door for a lot of things, because Univision was one of the biggest hindrances to the timing of everything that was happening with Lucha Underground. They were part of the hiatus break. They were part of the money issues. They really had a lot to do with all of the things that I hated about the business process of Lucha Underground. And it was one extra voice in the room, and one of the voices that was controlling a large part of the purse strings of El Rey. Now, El Rey had their money and they could divvy it out certain ways, but Univision had oversight on all those budgets. And when they needed more money for things, they had to always have Univision involved. Even though they were a minority partner, it still was a big chunk of the budget. So Rodriguez always had to go and deal with them. Skip always had to deal with those guys. EV Dub always had to run his budgets through the Univision guys, which is part of the huge holdup for season 4, part of the reason why it all got taped in 1 month. And now they are out of the El Rey business. Shortly, however, I believe the Lucha Underground contract from MGM as the TV distributor and producer with El Rey as rights to air it first run, I think that's going to lapse soon. So maybe, just maybe, there's an opportunity right now for El Rey and MGM to have another conversation to see if together this might be something they want to bring back or try again. I know Skip is a big fan of trying to find a way. And if MGM cuts ties with El Rey entirely, you lose Skip. And Skip, the things that we talk about for Lucha Underground right now, being influential and being a huge part of what makes it something that will probably resonate as a wrestling product for a long time, are these damn vignettes that Skip did and the cinematic quality. And I honestly don't know if somebody else could do that. Not like he does, not like he did and in that style, and keep it campy and kitschy and cheap and fun, but looking great and having a stylized approach and being easy to edit and, getting everyone excited.
This is why you need to watch Talking Shop-A-Mania, Justin, because I'm sure that wasn't Skip.
I definitely do want to watch this now. You got me excited about it. So I'm definitely going to do that now that I have some interwebs and power and all those things.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, it's an interesting development. It opens the door for Jeffrey Briggs and JT Wilcoxon to get in there with their No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's a lie. It's just, it's another piece of the puzzle. We knew some of this was coming, but El Rey Network is now out on their own. They have no bigger parent company. I don't know if this is going to impact their funding or what, but I believe that Robert Rodriguez is ready to make big moves. And I think that as COVID winds down, there could be some interesting moves from El Rey, and maybe, maybe, Lucha Underground will be one of them. We'll
fuck that. Bring back Cutting Crew, baby. Woo! Haircuts.
I'd love to see some more from Dusk Till Dawn, but that show is extremely expensive, so they'd have to get an outside financier for that. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if anything will happen or not, or if MGM would even be willing to work with El Rey after all of the stuff that they went through while Univision was partnered up. But it could be a thing. Anyway, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more here on Mass, Mats, and Mayhem.
Without Justin, God damn it.
Blow me up, Justin.
That's boom.
Lucha-masks.com, in partnership with Mask Republic, give you personal protective masks to keep you Lucha strong in the fight versus COVID-19. With world-class luchadors Blue Demon Jr., the Lucha Brothers, LA Park, Ultimo Dragon, Cain Velasquez, Conan, and so much more. Head to lucha-masks.com and you too can become a masked warrior. lucha-masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.
We are back. We are without Justin for this segment. It's just the Lucha Gringo, Professor Casey, and myself, Byron. We are going to get into breaking news in the wrestling industry. AEW just launched AEW Games. They had their own not so subtle tip of the hat to Steve Jobs, rest in peace, with their announcement. We had announced, I believe, a sort of like an online card game, like a GM mode sort of thing, which I'm not going to play that game, so it doesn't matter that much to me. They announced a console game, which looks kind of cool.
With Ukes, I'm not completely sold on it. And let me tell you, Byron, that's what actually leads to the segment right now is I was talking about this with one of our listeners on Twitter, Comatose, aka at Luchaspawn, longtime listener, one of our many Australian listeners, which we have three. We have three.
MMMshow,
we have
premier Australian wrestling podcast.
Yeah. So we got Luchaspawn, we got Gose, and we got Andre Nichols. Good day, mates.
Good day, mate.
And yeah, dude, we were talking about it a little bit, and he came up with a challenge for us. Okay, which was for us to say, instead of talking about just the AEW game, was to kind of fantasy book our own Lucha Underground game.
Right.
But not for like if it came out during the show, but like if it came out with the technology available now.
Right. So what I would do, first of all, I think it's important to bring up with the Steve Jobs tribute, they teased and had a payoff for the one more thing moment of the press conference thing. They brought in the developer guy, the head honcho guy from Aki.
AKI. He kind of was.
I always say
No Mercy.
For the character. Yeah, so he did No Mercy. No Mercy's the big thing, right? But the other more subtle things is that he's done that have been fantastic as far as, don't listen to Dave Meltzer. There are all the video games that aren't WWE are big sellers and they're fantastic. Like, so all the WCW games, most of them, but all the Def Jam games are among the best wrestling games.
Well, he did the good Def Jam games. He did Vendetta. And some of his work was carried over into Fight for New York, which is tremendous, but I don't think he directed that one.
Yeah.
To answer
the question, it's just, I think it's a seamless transfer to or transition to do a Def Jam Vendetta type game with the Lucha Underground cast.
That's not quite where I would go, but I like it. I do feel like there's some stuff that Def Jam Fight for New York did that they could steal pretty liberally, and it would be kind of awesome.
Like what?
So, so first I want to really quickly, though, establish me and Byron's credibility as wrestling game fans.
We are very credible.
We've been friends since high school, and we've been importing games from Japan because most of the American games sucked since high school.
Fire Pro on the Saturn.
We've been Fire Pro guys since the Sega Saturn, and I've gone back and played everything earlier than that. I've got quite the opinion about wrestling games. I gotta say though, our target here isn't to make a good wrestling.
You just reminded me, was it Virtual Pro Wrestling? Was that the video game where they were all sort of anonymous? And you could do like moonsaults on guys in mid-ring just for like 10 minutes straight, but also they would bleed, but it wasn't red. It was like white.
You're thinking of Power Move Pro Wrestling.
Power Move.
They would bleed black, or some of them would bleed white, and it looked very obscene. That was actually a Ukes game. It was based on Tokon Retsuden, the New Japan games that Ukes did before they started doing the SmackDown games. There's a whole complicated thing here. I got to say, though, we like good wrestling games that kind of encompass the whole world of wrestling. That's not what we're doing here, though. We're trying to encompass Lucha Underground specifically. And I think what Byron mentioned about Def Jam games, when you would fight in that one arena where they were in the bar and the whole crowd was around, and every once in a while someone would grab somebody or somebody would hit somebody with something to where it was kind of a ripoff of the game Pit Fighter. I think that's a cool way to do like a Believers Backlash match. Like you could set it up like that and it would work pretty good. Because Lucha Spawn specifically asked us to talk about stuff that would work with this new generation of gaming. I honestly think most of the things in wrestling games could have been done last gen. The devs were just either lazy or stuck in a game a year cycle where they couldn't fit in new shit a lot of the time. A Lucha Underground game, I feel like you got a small arena, right? It's really compact. You only have to make 2 arenas. You make the old temple, you make the new temple. So everyone's happy.
But you can also Easter egg when we get into season 2 and Matanza, or season 3. When or whichever it is, when Dario and Matanza go on the road, you can Easter egg. Probably it'd be really cool to do that secondary fighting, room or whatever fighting league that Dario put up to sharpen Matanza. Fed him Boyle High Sisters.
I think no matter how many arenas you have, the pool's going to be really small. And that allows them to focus on something that other video games haven't focused on. And that is the interactivity of the arena itself. I think that's very essential in a Lucha Underground game. I should be able to run up the stairs. I should be able to roll a motherfucker down the stairs. I should be able to go to the top of the office. I should be able to jump off of the top of the office with guys that it would make sense for. I feel like they should limit that to certain characters.
Yeah.
But other characters can maybe powerbomb you through the fucking office.
That'd be funny.
Like that.
We talked about Jack Evans earlier. That'd be funny to have Jack Evans try and suplex the guy on top of the office, but it never breaks because he weighs 100 pounds. But
and then Cage gets suplexed on it and it breaks the whole office, Yeah. I think that you could have some interactivity with the announce table. You could brawl a little bit among the crowd. Technology is definitely there where they could have audience members be in the way and scatter and fight amongst them.
Yeah.
They should be able to do that. No problem. Dead Rising games last generation had more zombies than there would be audience members on the screen at one time.
Yeah. And really, you don't need more than a couple that would actually interact with the wrestlers at a time if you wanted to try and.
And I say limit that to a couple matches like Believers Backlash.
Yeah.
But
also,
you should still be able to grab a chair and hit some motherfuckers with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But also, it would be kind of cool to have this touch like in the old temple where Mill goes into the audience and the believers would, they would, part the seas. And, it's just a cool visual, but maybe in the new temple, something that happened a lot. There was a bowling alley that they had in some ringside seats, and there were newer fans there who didn't know to get out of the way when they were told to get out of the way. And so they would end up with a luchador just thrown on their laps with like chair sandwiching them in and everything. That would be a fun thing. And especially, it would be really great if they modeled those fans after the type of fans after us. No, we'd be the cool fans that were like,
no, we'd be the cool fans sitting by the office. Yeah. But still.
Yeah. We're like Penta's like punching someone, and blood is like splattering on the fans' clothes. That would be us. Cause that's what happened.
Dude. And I feel like blood is the must
after a super kick, stuff like that.
I want blood to flow. I want blood to have a different lighting fucking texture than the rest of the skin so that it's shiny. I want Mil Muertes to spit blood at the camera during one of his moves so that there's a little blur.
There's that. Like a lot of the matches are generally just no DQ matches. So they have the ability, I think, to add a little bit different like color or flavor to them to do the different theme matches. Like you need to have the
like the Hell of War arena and all that stuff.
Yeah, like that. That big Marty and Killshot match.
Marty with all the army stuff around. Yeah.
Who won? Was it Killshot that won with the double stomp?
Killshot won.
Killshot won the double stomp off the top of the rope. Yeah, that was a cool one. It was they have all these military props are like rubber guns and stuff. Like we all joked, what if the guns are loaded and someone just shot the other one and the match went real short.
Speaking of guns, Talking Shop of Mania may have used the same bazooka that's on the Fuck You Here is Casey shirt. because it was filmed in LA and it was clearly a prop, and I think it was from the same prop house.
You think they used the same bazooka that was featured in Delusions of Morons?
Absolutely. Delusions of Morons.
Rented it from the same place that everyone goes to in the valley.
Yeah. So check this out.
So you need that match. You would need,
ladder matches, of course.
What else? You would need
casket match, of course. Grave Consequences.
You would need the Vampiro match, the Cerro Miedo match.
Yeah, I also think you need Aztec Warfare with actual Aztec dancers on the stage and like drummers and shit. You need that.
Yeah.
Also maybe a generic band up there during the rest of your matches so you can throw somebody off of their place if you wanted. You need the all night long match, of course. These are all matches that have been in games before, just not a Lucha Underground version.
I mean, all night long is an Iron Man match, right?
Right. And those have been in games since the N64 or PS1. So it's all good.
You're just giving a little bit of a different presentation, but the mechanics as far as how you do it is there.
Cage match.
But I also think that the storyline options are, they're ripe, and that's where I think you could do DLC and make a solid game. You're not updating the roster every year, but you could do a new storyline every year.
I feel like they could have some cool storyline opportunities that maybe when you're creating a character, you could choose an allegiance to one of the tribes, and that can give you unique abilities, or you could say you're not part of any of the tribes and you can be a more awesome character that everyone likes more. Like Pentagon, motherfucker. Also,
but you need Pentagon Jr. You need like the original Ninja guy, and then you need Pentagon Jr. when he gets into the groove and he starts wearing the pedo shirt, and then you need Pentagon Dark. You need all those characters.
Yeah. You got to have variations of each character. You got to have shitty striped pajamas, Mil Muertes, and then all of his evolutions. You got to have the shitty disciples of death that we see in the episode we talked about today, versus awesome. But they get the cool masks later on. They've got kind of like the shitty ones right now. They've got like the High Spots knockoff Mortis mask on right now. And I think what's important though to talk about is you're not making a Lucha Libre game traditionally. There's actually only been one AAA's game. It kind of sucked. There's a Japanese game called Burning Pro Wrestling that had a pretty accurate Lucha Libre rule set in it, but the gameplay didn't really capture all that much. What was cool though is if you were in the Lucha Rules match and you pile drove somebody, you would get disqualified automatically, which was really cool. But I found that out the hard way because I was playing through the career mode as the Undertaker. I go to tombstone a motherfucker and I lose the match. I'm like, what the fuck? And then it's like Lucha Rules DQ, and I'm like, holy shit, that's the coolest thing ever.
You need a ref distraction. Yeah, that's a good point. It would be kind of cool to have a AAA sort of influence. I mean, just do a AAA ring, and then you have Trump is doing a really shitty heel ref job where I don't know why he's still employed there. He doesn't count pins for faces, and he always cheats for the bad guys. You wouldn't get away with that in a real sport, and not in a real sport. You wouldn't get away with that in any other sporting league. This guy is just super, super, just not down the middle.
No, I feel like there's two ways we could go. We could have referees be part of the matches or not. I don't really care either way, but I think there's some fun stuff if they are. I also feel like you got to be able to do some pretty cool stuff as far as we don't have traditional Lucha rules, but there's something very important that Lucha Underground does that I think we should use. And this is that the dives to the outside of the ring should be used to represent momentum shifts in the match. Yeah. They should be kind of like the Day of Reckoning games for GameCube used momentum shift move. I feel like you could do that as a dive for some people, but other people have different stuff. Like Mil Muertes can just punch you in the fucking face. That's true. It doesn't have to be a dive for everyone, and it should be specific to the person.
So it's not so much a dive, but the wrestlers, it should be an ability that they can possibly have a momentum shifting type move ability.
Because in order to cut the matches for TV time, those are the transitions in the match or the dives.
Yeah. At least, I mean, WWE TV, it's the go to commercial thing. But it's, you know, I don't like that technique. But
it is what Lucha Underground was structured like, though. If we're trying to make a game that it absolutely captures it, I think it's something we have to do.
I like the idea of there being an option, like Fire Pro that we were playing has options for run-ins. I think there should be, even if you're not in a storyline mode, you should be able to turn it on where there are certain wild cards in the arena, like Dario coming out and adding a stipulation or adding something. So maybe it's a way of like, you want a random stipulation match, and how it happens is you start the match and Dario comes out. It says,
hold on. I love it. That's a dope idea. I like that. I like that random seed. I also think you should be able to turn those run-ins on. So maybe Pentagon comes in and breaks your fucking arms and the match is over. That's completely fine. Because again, we're not looking to make the best wrestling game in the world. We're looking to make the best Lucha Underground game in the world, which means a lot of the story mode is going to need a lot of cutscenes, a lot of stuff, very cinematic. And I think they could do that. Things that they probably couldn't do that well last gen that they could do now are going to be pretty minor, but it's going to be stuff like Drago's tongue looking all realistic. Go for it. That's what 4K graphics are for. That's what the PS5 is for. Realistic tongue physics.
Ooh, showing it up.
Yeah, you got to do stuff like that. Also, intergender matches are a must. Managers are a must, so that we can get Katrina in there, and we can get Famous B in there. One thing that I got to mention, though,
the commercials. They got to all the Famous B commercials they have to put in
story mode. Yeah, I think so. I feel like there was a game, Legends of WrestleMania, that sucked really bad, but it had cool interactions where each of the managers had different abilities. And I think they should completely rip that off just so that they could have Katrina revive Mill with The Rock, but no one else does that. That's a manager. Yeah. Because they had Paul Bearer doing earn shit that no one else could do. And then Bobby Heenan would do like some cheating shit. And, you know, Jimmy Hart would toss the megaphone, you know, things like that. And that's the kind of stuff we need. So we could have Famous B
would get in the ring and then get punched in the face. And then this guy
I feel with the realistic water effects, we could have Prince Puma's crying realistically rendered in the game.
Oh, so I think also there's like WWE in their games, they do have pretty phenomenal story modes. Like when you're, that's kind of what I was thinking of doing. Like when you did like the Wall of Pain run, you know, stuff like that. I think it'd be really cool to do that, but to have access to the Chris's for the stuff they wanted to write, and also have what would make it kind of special is to have the stuff that they didn't. I don't know what to call this. Maybe you can come up with something, but the stuff that didn't make it, the stuff that they had an idea and a wrestler got hurt, or they couldn't bring a wrestler in, but they had
the video game is season 5 that we never got in the perfect world.
Definitely,
because this game's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. This is us fantasy booking out of our ass, but it would be cool.
So you need to have season 5. Definitely have season 5 in it, or you know, like maybe each game. If this is a game, like I'm looking at it more like the Fire Pro game, where you're going to kind of construct a base, the actual game, and you're not going to make a new version of it. Like even with the sports games that do that every year, it's a little flimsy on what's new every year. Like you don't buy an iPhone every year. You get it's not cool. There's a huge difference like every 3 years or whatever it is. So something like this, you make the game, but then you have like the DLC, like the storyline updated. So you can have a storyline for season 1, and then you have a version for season 2, season 3, season 4, and then you have season 5. And if we're fantasy booking this, it's going to be something that makes money. And so then they just
it's
keep
funny
doing
though,
it.
because they'll just be like, oh, we got to stop. No one bought the season 4 DLC. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to move on to a different game now.
But I mean, you get into IP and stuff like that, and I don't know if they own.
I mean, we would never get this game, but I think the stuff that we added makes it stand out amongst other wrestling games, and I think that's what's important, is not making it like everything else. That's why I'm a little leery about this AEW thing. They just went and got WWE's old developer.
Yeah,
they just got the guy that ran WWE's old toys at his new company to do their action figures. You know, it doesn't sound like innovation to me, but I'm willing to look at the new AEW game with an open mind.
Yeah, I think we have to. I mean,
we gotta. What else are we gonna play? WWE games? Fuck that, bro.
This is a wrestling game made by wrestling video game marks like us, you know, and I mean that in the best way possible. This is the best. Like, this is what we have asked for. And so you just have to trust the process and then see what happens. And like, worst case scenario, you don't like the game and you don't buy it. It's not the end of the world. But
yeah, and also, plus, how many games do you think they're going to get? How long is this company really going to be around?
I think.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a while. I mean, look at WCW. They got a lot of games. ECW got 2 fucking games. They're terrible, but they got 2 fucking games.
Yeah, it's interesting because they did a funny thing where funny misdirect, but they brought up No Mercy and then they showed a game that looked just like, was it Battlegrounds, where like it's sort of a cartoonish.
I think it looked more like All Stars than Battlegrounds, but
yeah, you know, and that was a little disappointing, but it was also super early. So if you look at it like a super early version, well, it looks pretty sharp for that. You know, it's not like
I just think what happened, you know what I think really happened? They had pretty realistic Kenny, they had pretty realistic Sheeta, and Jericho's like, why'd you make me so fat? And they had to fix it.
Yeah, but he was more realistic than the other two. But I think if they really hone in on that No Mercy engine, which also, like, we're so far removed, is that engine going to be relevant now? I don't know, but as long as it's not that flashy arcadey,
the other thing is it's not going to be the engine. It's going to be them attempting to recreate the engine.
Yeah.
So it's going to be different some way. So I hope it's not just sped up looking Aki style, aka style, like we saw in the Ultimate Muscle game / Kaniku Man, depending on which version you played. So Byron, the little pink muscle figures, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So the 80s versions, they sold them here as generic guys, but in Japan, it's a whole series called Kaniku Man. I fucking love this series too. It's great. It's all about wrestling. And they did Kaniku Man video games, and they brought them out here too, because Ultimate Muscle, which is the Kaniku Man like next generation show, made it to channel 11 briefly, like very briefly. That's Fox for those of you that didn't grow up in the LA area. But yeah, they're a sped up, more arcadey AKI engine. Not that great, but still kind of fun. I hope that's not where they go. I want to see more basic match gameplay. This trailer had me thinking that showing your first scene of just cool moves with a Z isn't a great thing. It doesn't show me anything about the flow. It doesn't give me any information. So I feel like there's a lot of wait and see here, because Yuke's has made a non-WWE game. They've made the Wrestle Kingdom games for New Japan, and I didn't like those games. They were almost overly animated to where a lot of the moves and animations were so canned to be specific to the New Japan guys that moves took forever. They were like overdone.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like they're in the right place trying to go towards the AKI games, even though AKI games are second place at best in my heart, and Fire Pro will always be first. I don't think Fire Pro is right for AEW. I think Fire Pro is too niche to try to expose to a large audience like that, and they should not go that route.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm looking to see.
For a game like this, for the audience, it's going for casual. You want casual sort of sports and fighting games fans. Like, this is something that helped out FCW a lot. Their games were fun as hell. Def Jam, those games are fun as hell. My friends loved that game, and they hated watching wrestling. It's like, this is an opportunity to grab new fans to your brand. Not
and if I can throw Flavor Flav in front of a train, bonus points.
Right. So like, there should be an element to this game. This is something I consider as a filmmaker, where you want to create a very intricate sort of psychology for your story and for your characters, but also you're going to make a horror film where people get stabbed and there's pretty girls without their shirts on. Like, you're satisfying like the caveman, and you're satisfying the art house, and hopefully everything in between. So you definitely want that intricate game that we would want, with all of our favorite characters and all of our favorite, functions and expandability. But you want the casual fan to get in there and button smash and have a good time too.
And throw a motherfucker on a barbed wire circus net. Come on.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
We need that.
Something, speaking of button smashing, I love that old arcade game, WWF Superstars, I believe it was, in like WrestleMania. WrestleFest, that's the game. There's like one or two versions of it, I think, out there, but WrestleFest, oh my God, like, who doesn't have sort of a romantic type like memory of being a kid and jamming quarters into the arcade game, playing that game. It was the best. Someone's bringing it back, and they're doing it legit, and they have indie wrestler sign. But it's taken forever. And
it's coming out next year now. I think it's coming out February now. Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. I go on the Twitter and I see. He's
talking about Retromania Wrestling, by the way.
Yeah, Retromania Wrestling, which should be out on everything: console, computer, Switch, whatever. Which I was super excited for it, and then it got delayed, and then it's delayed to the point where, like, every social media post, someone asks, and there's no answer. And also, like, now they have a podcast and this and that, and I feel like they started promoting it way too soon. Like, the interest.
I feel like it's our Lucha Bros figures, Byron.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like
same.
They should have waited. They should have had it almost be done, and then do the marketing blitz then, because when they bring it up, you're like, wow, that's awesome. I loved playing this old game, and now here's a new version of it that's accessible to me. Like, I want it. I wanted it 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think what they're going to find, though, is there's a difference between wanting to buy a game for a system and getting hours of enjoyment than something that you pump quarters into 10 minutes at a time. I don't think the gameplay is going to be deep enough to be super enjoyable over long periods of time, but it should be a fun thing for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which really, I mean, I got the PS5 now, dog. Show me some polygons. Fuck. Yeah, I think so. So I hope we satisfied what Lucha Spawn was looking for there.
So to recap, can you bullet point what you would do in a wrestling game, and then for
a Lucha Underground game specifically, interactivity with the building, fighting amongst the crowd, all of the Lucha Underground's special match types included. I would have dives, uses transitions, maybe other special moves as well that really turn the tide into the match and turn it the other way until they get a transition and they go back. Also, I wouldn't do any bullshit reversal system. I'd do it like Fire Pro, where either you do the move or you fucking don't. And all the reversals have to be based on the wrestler's style. I don't want to see the Big Show doing fucking arm drags like in the WWE games. If I see Cage doing a fucking arm drag, I'm going to be pissed. So don't do stuff like that. Also, Drago needs those missed reversals like the Great Muta as well. So I want it to be as authentic to the show that it's based on. And that is what I'm looking for in a game like that. I don't think there's much to push the technology, because I feel like everything could have been done last gen and people were just lazy, except for those realistic Drago tongue physics, which is a bullet point, but also an exclamation point for the ladies. And some of the men.
Yeah, I think it would be fantastic. And I think I think if you could get the two Chris's to sit down and write the story, because these things are just like movies. You need writers and you have to edit them together. You're making little mini movies on top of the gameplay. I think they'd probably lose their minds, like realize, with the ability to have their characters that they are investing in. But
and no one bitching about doing jobs or anything,
or like getting hurt or saying they don't want to wear a mask anymore.
Let's be real, Byron. It would be a sexy star mega push is what it would be. Maybe we should write it. Maybe we should write it.
I mean, I get why Sexy Star was pushed at first. She was one of the AAA people, but I also think that, I think there is some truth to it not some truth. Obviously Ivelisse was in a much better position and performing much better to get that run in Lucha Underground. And so like, I get the Sexy Star stuff, but I also think most of the grief, because they were able to adjust a lot, especially season 2. They're able to 1 and 2. They're able to kind of start somewhere and then end up somewhere better. Ivelisse was going to get that run. And so that's a whole nother conversation, but I think that takes some of the heat off the Sexy Star stuff.
Not in my eyes,
because they learned. So I don't think the game at this point would be all Sexy Star. I think she is, a face or a mask in the name to make money off of as a product in wrestling, as a brand in wrestling. But that's a long way of saying I don't think the game would be all about her. Maybe the season where she wins the title, they might put her on the cover, and you don't have to buy that one.
No, it may be okay for you, but I'm an asshole, and I'm going to hold on to this until I'm in my grave, along with the finish of Ultima Lucha Dos. But yeah, that's it for our game talk.
Yeah, so
check out our
yeah,
Twitters. We talk about this shit all the time.
Yeah, hit us up, MMMshow 75, or you can hit Casey up at the Lucha Gringo at Lucha
Gringo,
or me at Byron Fever. Just hit both of us up, talk about games. We're usually playing Fire Pro or something, uploading videos of us beating the other person up on Fire Pro. You can join in the fun.
Yeah.
And also stay tuned to us for more updates, or go to AEW Games. They have that.
Stay tuned to us. We'll be honest.
So they have that one GM mode game. They have a casino game, which
like, what the fuck? Come on, get the fuck out of here.
Who cares? But the console game is really where it's at. And
yeah,
I think it's going to be really, really interesting and exciting to see what happens with that, especially with the WWE game just getting so bad and having it gets so buggy, and the gameplay, it's stagnant at best, and it's lost so much momentum. And with the COVID thing, they didn't even make a game. Like, the market is ripe.
Especially, they originally said this. I don't know if this is still going to be a thing, but they said that the next game they make isn't even going to be for the PS5 generation. It's still going to be for PS4, but that might change now since they didn't release a game this year. So, but they released Battlegrounds, but they didn't release a game this year. If you played Battlegrounds, fuck that shit.
I mean, I feel like that game's a mess, and when you look at the WWE and WWF and WCW games always, I feel, did better. They had more excitement to them.
Well, until you got No Mercy, but they just poached the people that made the WCW games, And WrestleMania 2000. WrestleMania 2000, I thought kind of sucked because roster-wise, you had too many brawlers that had similar move sets. By the time you got to No Mercy, you had the Radicals in the group. So you had Eddie Guerrero, you had Perry Saturn, you had Dean Malenko, you had Voldemort, you had everything.
Voldemort, yeah. So
yeah, he who shall not be named.
He who shall not be named. So that's it for our video game segment. This whole video game segment goes on the Wall of Fame, by the way, for the show. This is our Wall of Fame update. Casey and I, Byron, go on the Wall of Fame for this segment. Justin,
fuck yeah, dude! Two time.
Justin, for audio listeners, if you have a problem with that right now, you can speak up about it, and we'll do whatever you say.
And if you have a problem with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it.
So we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be back with whatever.
Oh wait!
What?
We put ourselves on the Wall of Fame. Did
Yeah.
we take someone off of the Wall of Shame?
No. We're gonna get to the segment later. This segment was just so tremendous. I couldn't finish it without doing the iron. Is it the Iron Shark pat on the back?
It's Barry Horowitz.
Barry Horowitz, pat on the back. I felt the need. I was compelled through my humbleness to.
But actually, it feels good.
It does.
It feels really good.
So
we should just keep doing this the rest of the show. The audio listeners can suck our dicks.
Yeah. So also, by the way, look us up on Fire Pro on the PlayStation Network, and download our wrestlers. Hit us up on Twitter
and download the logos Byron made. We got MMMshow shirts. Yeah. We got merch on Fire Pro.
We got merch. Put our logo on your create a character and stomp a mud hole in people. But we will be back with the rest of the show. And stay tuned and enjoy these lovely words that you probably haven't heard ever before from our lovely sponsor.
If you're listening to this and you haven't visited luchacentral.com, it's time to do it. luchacentral.com is the online home for Lucha Libre, where you can get all of the top news in English and in Spanish. Find the best curated video content and original content not seen anywhere else. Find when Lucha Libre events would be happening in your area. Find photo galleries from top photographers covering Lucha Libre around the world. From weekly polls to annual awards. Seen and read by top executives in all of the major Lucha Libre promotions across the globe. And on top of that, it's free. LuchaCentral.com, your centralized place for all things Lucha Libre.
So, Byron, you've done something that I almost never do. Unless it's Conan or unless it's the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. You listen to another wrestler's talking on a podcast. You listen to another wrestling podcast, you cheating whore.
You listen to more wrestling. You go on more wrestling podcasts than I do. That's
neither here nor there. That is neither here nor there. Do not slut shame me.
Oh, all right. I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that at all. So but I did listen to another show. I do check out Keeping It 100 from time to time. But
yes.
The first time ever, I listened to the AEW Unrestricted podcast, which is actually pretty good. And they had Cody Rhodes on it, and there was an interest. What really struck my attention, what I found interesting, was Cody tweeted saying, "Hey, this, don't listen to this if you don't like shoot stuff." And it's really interesting how Cody is kind of coming into his own as a character and as a wrestling personality. And there's just this weird blend of like old school and new school, but he clings on to the old school. And I thought that was really interesting how he did this shoot interview, and they joked throughout the whole thing about what they can and can't actually keep on the show. But he's like, don't listen to this if you don't like shoot stuff. Like, he's definitely paying respect to a portion of his fan base that I think he is working to cultivate. But
so what kind of shit did they get into then?
It was a really interesting interview, and especially for Cody as someone running the show, one of the guys running the show. It's something I like, even beyond the details, is just kind of listening to how he talks about it. And you kind of see where he kind of has felt a little humbled, or where he's learned, or where things he got right, or things like that. But a few things really stuck out to me as either fun or interesting. And one of the first ones was he mentioned how we're going to see more of a few specific stars in year 2. They're talking about this as year 2, and they had a year 1 cycle, and now they're on a year 2 cycle. And I that stuck out to me. I don't know if I can really explain how or why, but it's different than anywhere else. Like WWE, they have their WrestleMania, sort of plan, but it's kind of, devolved into, you have WrestleMania that's, we'll do a story from the Rumble to WrestleMania, and everything else is making TV segments for that week.
Yeah.
It's, and like Lucha Underground, to bring it to another thing that we talk about, their TV seasons. And and they never got a groove. It was so haphazard. This is interesting, especially to see how they've grown, and they got new graphics now, and they're in year 2. I thought that was really interesting. So it gives me, I guess, a bit of hope that they will continue to evolve, and just overall as a brand, there's something exciting to look forward to besides stories and characters. But he mentioned wrestlers like Red Velvet that we're going to see a lot more of, and they feature a lot into the plans, and a few others.
Yeah,
which is
Justin's so happy right now that he just lost his connection to the show.
He's so happy that his lawyers told him or forbidding him from being on the show. No, Justin had a power outage where he's at, so he's having some technical difficulties, which is why he is not in this segment.
Pay your bills, Justin.
All right, no, I'm not touching that one either. But it was interesting because then through that, he got into a discussion with Aubrey Edwards and Tony Schiavone briefly about contract structures, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and then tier Jericho, which I thought was funny. Of course, that's how
the
it
one
works.
you want.
That's
the one you want.
You want the limo ride after a show to the shitty chain steakhouse first,
so you can lose your fucking belt.
On the first show.
Yeah, good times.
But I thought that was interesting because it shows it shows just a glimpse into their business, and also like they have, there's flexibility in working with AEW. It's not an all or nothing. The independent contractor vibe exists there, especially if you want it, And then another thing that really, and there wasn't really any more details, but they also brought up how Tony is paying the indie wrestlers pretty well to go to the shows and to work dark and to be in the crowd and to not work indie shows. Like, you're getting a good payday to be more or less an extra on the show, which is
not
great.
Exposed to COVID because they have great testing and all that. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was really cool. That's, that was a really nice thing to hear that they were doing. And so that was kind of cool. And then another thing that Cody really got into is something that happened on one of the first shows, or on the first show. And it kind of just disappeared into the ether. We don't really talk about it so much anymore. I don't think Sean Spears even uses the nickname, the chairman of it.
And plus Matt Hardy almost died and completely overshadowed it. So
but they did that first gimmick of Spears chairing Cody in the head, unprotected headshot, and then Cody bled like a stuck pig, and it was a whole thing. And Cody, actually, enough time has passed where he felt comfortable talking about it. And to briefly recap, they invented their magic division, which is basically a props division. Cody wanted to bring back akin to movie stunts. He's like, if you could do something in a movie, you should be able to do it on a wrestling TV show. He wanted to bring back unprotected headshots, but he wanted to make it safe. And they made it safe in a way. And it's that soundbite has gone clickbaited a whole bunch. But basically, their prop guy sanded down a chair to the thickness of like a cookie sheet.
Mhm.
You know, like to the cookie sheet or like a metal trash can lid, like all your favorite, you know,
But they bend like
touches. They bend, they make a huge noise, and they don't do anything. So let's just make a chair like that, and and like that makes sense. They also like they didn't have that division yet, so like there's a bit of confusion into getting that to work, but they got it to work. The problem that happened was Cody told Sean Spears to swing for the fences and sideways swing.
Oh,
so after it happened, Tony Khan and Mox were undressing Spears after the match, after the segment, and Mox was telling him and showing him, "You're supposed to go overhead with chair shots, overhead, not sideways," and they were just ripping into him. And Cody had to come over and explain to them it was Cody's fault. That whole thing was Cody's fault, and it wasn't the thickness of the chair. It wasn't that
it was
the impact.
swing.
It was the side swing, and then something caught, and he still has, I think, the scar on the back.
Hey,
on his head.
props to Sean Spears for not saying it was Cody's idea and just taking it, just
Huge
taking
props.
the browbeating.
And also huge props to him for swinging for the fences like he was told to do. You know?
Yeah.
And it's
Byron.
Yeah.
Byron, somebody else was told to do something very explicitly on the show, told to do something. And it's turning me into Paul Heyman for a second there. Somebody was told to do something. Have they done it yet? Do you know to which I'm referring?
Well, if we're done with this interview, which I would definitely recommend listening to, if we're done with that and we're going to move on to the next segment, by the way, I just keep coming up with reasons to put Cody on the Hall of Fame, but I like how he's kind of a bit of a stubborn sort of jerk about some things, and then if it goes wrong, he has the ability to laugh at himself. And so, like, I'm going to be a stubborn,
jerk now, Byron.
So
I'm going to be a stubborn jerk.
So I don't have the list for our Hall of Fame.
There's only one that matters.
But
on the Hall of Shame.
But so if you think someone should be on the Hall of Fame, definitely tweet us at MMMshow75. Our Hall of Shame, I also tweet us if you have an idea for that, if you have a nomination. But something last week, I laid out a challenge to Cult Icon, to Eric Mutter.
Triple Dog dared you.
He
Triple Dog dare.
Had an opportunity. He did something very bad, and for which he is apologetic about, and he feels really bad about. And so he has an opportunity to make it right. But so far he has not. He has an opportunity to get off the wall of shame and to get unblocked by myself. I don't speak for Professor Casey.
No guarantees.
If he were to, I'm moving audio people, I'm moving for the video people so you can see my poster in the background. If he could watch and review my short film, Delusions of Morons.
Excuse me?
Which
our short film.
Casey and Justin also worked on it, helped me out with it. Which you can find on YouTube or Vimeo. Just look up Delusions of Morons, or you could go to delusionsofmorons.com. It's a short film. It's a lot of fun. I laid out an opportunity for Eric Mutter at Cult Icon. Tweet him about this.
A unique opportunity.
I offered Eric Mutter a unique opportunity to watch and review the short film. And then it could earn himself back in the good graces of the Masks, Mats, and Mayhem show. Casey, has he done it yet?
I don't know. I've got him blocked. I have no idea. He hasn't personally told the MMM show account that he's done it.
Yeah. So far, he is taking the coward way out.
I smell a coward.
He is an absolute coward. He is almost transgressing beyond the wall of shame into the coward.
No, there's the wall of shame, and then there's like the rock of shame that we put behind the wall because we're so ashamed of it that we don't even want to put it on the wall.
Yeah, he's in a bad spot. He's really operating with minimal levels of integrity and self-worth.
Think of it as a journalist. You've been challenged to watch something and review it objectively. You can say it sucks if you want.
Right. Well,
but you won't because it rules.
Yeah, you won't. But also, I still hold out the right to, if you don't like it and you say it's bad, that's a road we can go down too.
That's far away. That's down the road.
It's very unlikely. So, I laid out the unique opportunity last week. Cult icon Eric Mutter is still a coward, and the challenge stays for another week to see if he will respond. We know he watches.
And I personally am going to offer something to our listeners. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. If any other listener would like to take the Delusions of Morons challenge and watch and review the film, I will personally put them on the Hall of Fame. But not you, because you've already been challenged, Cold Icon, but anyone else.
That's a good idea. That is a great idea. Mask Mats and Mayhem's the premier Delusions of Moron short film podcast, wrestling podcast.
And you know why I made that decision? Because Justin is not here to veto it. So, woo!
If you disagree, we'll do whatever you want. Just chime in right now.
Yeah, just
what?
I don't hear anything.
What?
Jason, is that you?
Hello?
Jason?
So
Nothing.
Let's see. What else can we talk about? So that challenge is open. Cult Icon, don't be a coward. We're 1 week into this.
This is your chance to win our respect and admiration.
This could be the first time.
Or at least tolerance.
This could be the first time you have earned the respect of someone else ever. And I am gracious enough to offer you that opportunity. So there's that. What else do we got going on?
We can be found. We can be found on Twitter at MMMshow75. We can be found at Lucha Gringo. We can be found at Byron Fever. Go say hi to at Justin Harvey 75. See if his power's still on. If not, send help. Send lots of help.
Yeah. So tweet Justin, and if he doesn't respond, just start mailing him batteries. Like charge an iPhone battery, and then one of those power packs, and then just mail it to him. You have his address. You can look it up. It's really easy to stalk.
He also needs some D-cell batteries, but he won't tell us why. We're pretty sure it's some kind of vibrator. Just help the guy out. He won't give us a reason.
Yeah. What else? So this is now, we're going to make new rules now. This is the section of the show where we can also rewrite what the show is. So I think now Casey and Byron are the stars of the Masks, Mats, Mayhem show.
Tag team fucking champions is what we are.
We are. So
we're like the Legion of Doom, but alive. Too soon?
I just got really sad. So
be calm and stay in the mix.
Yeah, on that note, be calm and stay in the mix. Justin,
I don't know what he says. I'm looking at my phone when he's closing the show usually.
I think at somewhere Justin just like punched a wall, and he doesn't know why, but he knows that something angered him. So anyway,
keep calm.
That's all we
stay in the mix.
Hold on. There's like three words I wanted to say in front of that too. Also, I wanted to say it. So anyway, thanks for joining us. How's it go?
Keep calm.
Keep calm and stay in a mix.
Penis.